Hello, fellow movie crusaders, and welcome to another episode of Sean's Movie Crusades, as this is part 3 of the Movie Crusaders ride through the Star Wars galaxy, as today we discuss Revenge of the Sith. Yes, the final film of the prequels. Of course, with me, like always, I got Jay Burns with me. Jay, how the hell you doing tonight?
Hey, man, I'm repping Wawa, the best East Coast convenience store out there, and I'm ready to talk. So I'm ready to talk some Revenge of the Sith.
And right down below me is my brother and my partner, Jurassic Sharks all the way, Kirk Kowalkowski. Kirk, how are you doing tonight?
The bad times are over. We made it through episode 1. We made it through episode 2. No matter what happens from here on out, that's in the past. It's only uphill from here.
I'm still nursing injuries from the 3-on-1 beatdown I took during episode 2. But we got a new movie crusader here today, Doug Castell. Doug, welcome to Movie Crusaders. How the hell are you? Are you excited to be a part of this? We've been trying to get you on for a while now.
Man, I'm so excited to be here. It's fun. I am not a prequelist. I'm an original trilogy guy, but there's some hidden gems in this that I like. It's not as wonky as the first two that you probably did. And I would have probably been a 4th on that beatdown for episode 2. I'm sorry.
Like I said, no. You should apologize. Like I said,
don't apologize. Episode 2 is trash.
Hashtag fight for Attack of the Clones. If you take the blue stuff out of the film is a pretty good film. Anyway, we're talking Revenge of the Sith today. We're gonna leave Attack of the Clones in the rear view because I'm tired of taking shit for it. We're on Revenge of the Sith. We're on the dark times. A very dark film indeed. But yeah, I think generally for this film, this was more positive, obviously, than the other two. I think generally a lot of people liked this one than hated it. Jay, what were your general thoughts of Revenge of the Sith?
I actually don't hate this one. The dialogue's still a little bit clunky to me, but other than that, like, we get a lot more action. We get to finally see some stuff happen, and I can't wait to actually get into it and talk about the meat and potatoes of this movie. It's gonna take a minute, but we'll get there. It won't take as long as it did for episode 2, but we'll get there.
Well, that's because there's a lot of Naboo stuff. Doug, what were your general thoughts of Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, I mean, the sour taste that episode 2 left in my mouth, I had really lowered standards for this movie, especially since, George kind of hasn't been on his game with pretty much 2 out of 3 of the movies that you're doing for the prequels. And I actually went into it lowered standards, and I've watched it. It's made my rewatch list a few times. I enjoy the machete cut. It makes the prequels go faster. No, I don't hate this movie as much as I hate the other 2.
Which, for anyone who's watching, if you don't know what the machete cut is, it is episode 4, 5. Then you go back, you watch the prequels. Now you add Rogue One into it.
Actually, you start
Rogue One out.
So you start with Rogue One. Go 4, 5,
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
6, 7, 8.
Yeah, and the whole reason for the machete because it makes Anakin Skywalker the main character of the story, not Luke, Han, Leia. Which, I mean, they're still very vital parts of the story, but it's all about the character arc of Anakin Skywalker. It's definitely a different way to watch it. I actually enjoy it that way. Kirk's putting his hand up like it's, first grade. So, Kirk.
I'm just looking at my cut. I do Christmas special, Solo, Return of the Jedi, the
Wars, the cartoon.
Yeah. So I do a little different, but that's all right.
Gotcha. Kirk, what were your thoughts of Revenge of the Sith?
The biggest problem this movie had was it had too much to do. I think our friend Brian said it best last week or the week before that this really should have been episode 2, and episode 3 should have been its own thing. This movie should have had its time to breathe, and the stuff we're introduced to, stuff we get to see, I think should have been expanded. And I think a lot of the problems of episode 1, episode 2, from a filmmaking standpoint, carry over this, unfortunately, but still, there's a lot here to like. It is my favorite of the 3, and I think from where we're at, the way we stumbled out of the gate with the first two, this might be the best movie we possibly could have got.
All right. Before we jump deep into this, Doug, since you are new here, without going too far into just a simple, like, one sentence of it, like or dislike Last Jedi? Nope. Kirk.
Like.
Kirk is quiet. What? Like. Okay. In case you don't know this, Doug, I'm going to set this up on every episode because I want everyone to be ready for this. Episode 8. It is literally going to be whoever is going to be on that show, we're all going to come in, we're going to do general talk of Last Jedi, just like we did with Revenge of the Sith, and then I'm kicking one out, and it's going to be Kirk versus Jay. Kirk, primo hater of Last Jedi, Jay, primo lover of Last Jedi, and we're just going to let them fucking duke it out for the entire show, because this thing's been building for over a year now. And I'm not letting anyone mess with it. So if you are not on that episode, you are more than welcome to watch that episode or be in backstage, because this is the video we've all been waiting for to shoot. So I needed to know what your thoughts were on the Last Jedi film, because yeah, that's coming up real soon, and I cannot wait. And these two are salivating for this episode, which we're almost there. We're almost there. But we are talking Revenge of the Sith today, so let's go ahead and jump right in. This takes place, about 3 years or so after Attack of the Clones? We got a great cartoon series to kind of give us the meat and the potatoes, the way Jay likes to put it.
And I also want to point out the Cartoon Network, the micro series.
Yes.
People kind of overlook that now because of the longer series. I love
we
that.
were honestly talking about that before you hopped on. It's like, because they built up Grievous to be this epic badass that little thing, and then he's fucking nothing in this movie.
Genny Tartakovsky knows exactly what he's doing when he makes cartoons. And that was such a badass cartoon. We got so much more. We got so much in such a little amount of time.
Yeah.
And had they done anything like that in between episodes 2 and 3, I think they could have made a more complete vision of this. Like, don't get me wrong, the Clone Wars cartoon that we got after the fact, fantastic. Some of the best Star Wars that we've gotten in a long time, up until, The Last Jedi and The Mandalorian, regardless of what anybody here has to say about it.
I mean, Rebels was good.
Rebels is fantastic.
See,
the cartoon, I wish we could talk more about the cartoons, and I think we should do that in a
We will
different
do
show.
it probably next year, because we got plenty of stuff down the road we got to do. But I agree, Jay. I think the little miniseries cartoon built a beautiful character arc for Grievous to the point where you were terrified of this character, whereas Clone Wars did not do that. If anything, they built up Darth Maul and Ventress, who are not in this film. And this kind of did the same disservice to Grievous that this movie did. Because I'm sorry, Grievous in this movie, which this starts right to the point where we are in this. We're going on his ship, which is the Hand. What it's called? The Invisible Hand. The Invisible Hand. We literally are going into that to start the film, but Grievous is just a runaway little bitch in this movie the whole way through. It's like not the character that we got in that cartoon series where murders Jedis and takes their lightsabers. We never got to see that in this movie. You actually didn't even know, except I think for one line in this movie, that's what Grievous did. We all got that in that epic little miniseries. But yeah, so the movie starts with Anakin and Kenobi leading a rescue mission for Palpatine, which I'm guessing if they're gonna end Clone Wars, that's kind of how they have to end it, is him getting captured. But Jay.
Well, no, so I mean, he alludes to it in dialogue, but more than once.
Okay,
like at the very beginning. Well, no. See, at the very beginning, he's like, "Oh, these lightsabers will make a very fine addition to my collection," and then he puts it right next to another lightsaber. And then, when they're on Utapau later in the movie, he's like, "I have been trained in your lightsaber form."
But he doesn't say that these sabers are from Jedis that I've slain. He never said that. You know that from the cartoon.
I know, but I mean, even logic would even at that point in time when I hadn't seen any of the cartoons, logic to me dictated, oh, he's got lightsabers, he can't use the Force, he's killed Jedi.
Yeah, but he also
that's just me.
But again, this goes back to what we talked about in episode 2. the stuff that they refer to
Yeah.
in the movie is more interesting
And what we
than
actually
what we get to see.
not in this movie. I mean, we do get a good.
No, I
chunk
mean we get some good stuff in it, but I mean like with General Grievous, like all the ancillary General Grievous stuff is so much better.
There definitely need to be a scene where Grievous kills a Jedi.
Yeah.
And there's a deleted Shaw T scene where he kills her, but that didn't make it the final cut.
There needed to be a scene.
For me, yeah. I mean, Grievous for me was kind of swept under the rug. Like in like everything but that little mini series that we got, he's kind of swept under the rug.
He's swept under the rug in visual media. That's just it. Like there's stories of him in books where he kills Jedi. There are several comic books where he gets into fight. Yeah, nerd, reader. Yeah, there are comics even. What are you gonna do? Read at me? But I mean, there are comics.
Well, it's like even in the little miniseries, Jedi's ran from him. Like they saw him and they ran away from him. And in this movie, I mean, obviously it's Obi-Wan and Anakin; they're not going to run. But we never got that. It's almost like I said with Snoke. We built Snoke up so huge in our minds based off of what J.J. Abrams did in Force Awakens, and then we got none of that in Jedi. It was almost like with this, it's like we got all this Grievous shit, and we built Grievous up to be here. And George Lucas is like, nah, that's not what he really is. We're not gonna build him into this movie.
And the crazy part,
that's nobody's fault but ourselves.
I know.
But no, because here's the thing. They gave you it, and guess who signed off on the miniseries? George Lucas.
We saw what Grievous could do. We've seen how dangerous Grievous is to the point that Jedis ran from him. But in the movie, he was just like, no, we're not doing that. And that was the problem, is that it's not like Clone Wars where it came out after the prequel. This miniseries came out before Sith. And we saw what Grievous was capable of. And then when the movie was just like, this is like not what we saw.
So you know how you add on to that scene, how you make that scene better? You add a non-special Jedi and have him cut down. And then it's the reason that you have Obi-Wan step up because Obi-Wan's more powerful.
Yeah. What's that, Jay?
Well, no. So, like Kirk was saying, there is a scene it's a deleted scene now. The first copy of this movie I got was a cutting room floor copy of this movie. So instead of the 2 hours and 20 minutes that it was 3 hours and 45 minutes, and they cut a lot, and it needed to be cut.
Was it not good? Because I've never seen this copy.
A lot of it was not good. A lot of it was not good. Yeah, it was like extended. It was extended scenes, reshot scenes. And then like a continuation of the movie. It was legitimately a hard copy from the cutting room floor of this movie. But there is a scene where Shakti does get murdered. And it's on the invisible hand. She gets fucking ran through with a lightsaber right in front of Obi-Wan Kenobi and fucking Anakin.
Okay. Yeah. So it was shot, just not put in the movie.
Yeah, and I mean, you want to give somebody, normal Jedis can't face this dude. You need somebody on the power level that Obi-Wan is to face this guy.
Or even Anakin at that point. But yeah, you need an elite level Jedi.
Yeah. You need somebody that should be on the council.
Yeah. Well, Anakin's not on the council, though.
We'll get to that later.
Before we move any further, guys, because we're kind of starting to get into the whole that whole scene and that whole sequence.
Yeah, we do need to back up a little bit.
I do want to back up, and I do want to talk about that first shot. That deserves to be talked about.
Go ahead.
That first shot where they show Anakin and Obi-Wan ship flying over the cruiser, and then they dive down and they go into the battle.
That's a fantastic shot.
That was one of the most exciting things I've seen in a movie ever. That was the most just exciting cinematic thing. And the way they shot that was beautiful. And Lucas gets a lot of crap for the way these movies look. And that was amazing. That's definitely my favorite shot of the prequels. Maybe one of my favorite shots of the entire saga. I mean, that when they spin down, when there's nothing and just those ships, and you go down, all of a sudden there's everything. that was it. And it gets a little tired, a little cheesy, like when they throw the kitchen sink and everything. But that initial shot when they dive down and you just see that whole battle unfold in front of you instantly is fantastic.
Well, I mean, that's what we've been wanting. Like we got that kind of in New Hope. We got that in Jedi. We got a little bit of that in Phantom Menace. Attack of the Clones. Well, I mean, we not really. We didn't really get that. And we got a chase scene, but even then, that wasn't a battle. But this one, we get a battle. But it was what opens the movie. It's not what the end of the film is going to be. But yeah, no, that was an awesome battle sequence. And then you got the little droids that jump on. Was it Obi-Wan or Anakin's? I think it was Anakin.
Obi-Wan, yeah, Anakin's gonna
taking it apart. Or
Anakin fucking scrapes his wing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like great shot of that. Like just it's a fun, exciting battle visual because you know that this movie is in the thick of the war, of the Clone Wars, and shit's just going crazy. Because what planet are they above during this? Is it? Yeah. But yeah, it's a fun, exciting battle, and they basically have to crash land into the Invisible Hand, which of course we get. Of course, Jay is gonna say plot armor R2, but we get
plot armor R2.
Fun story though. I don't know if you guys have ever done Star Tours at Disney World or Disneyland.
I have.
But they have like they change it up, like there's different stories and different events depending when you write it. Me and my son wrote it 9 times because I wasn't gonna stop writing it until I got the Coruscant fight. And I finally got it. And it is fantastic. If you ever get a chance
when I went, the prequels weren't a thing yet. So it was
okay, yeah. They hadn't made that change yet.
Yeah, I went in 95 and it was still the original trilogy stuff.
I got you.
Yeah, 2000 was the last time I went to Disney World.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there again once the huge thing with Galaxy's Edge dies down because I definitely need to go there at some point. I just want to go there while everyone's like, like I would rather wait for it to die down first. But
smart.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I mean, so like I said, we get a fun battle. They crash land into the Invisible Hand. Plot armor R2, which I hate that they use that because R2-D2 is my favorite character in the Star Wars galaxy. But then we also get kind of a moment where Obi-Wan kind of starts to talk shit about R2, and it's like he's trying. You leave him alone because yeah, fuck you, Obi-Wan. If it wasn't for R2, y'all would have been dead long ass time. How dare you?
Plot armor.
Shut up.
Okay, so this is the only moment I will give you this. I will give you this. This is the moment that R2's supposed to be R2. Like this fight is R2. Everything else, 100% plot armor. Sorry, Sean, but
I will give you the booster jets.
But yes,
like, wait, he never. No, this is R2 being R2.
This is R2 being an R2 unit.
Yeah.
So for me, when I first saw this, I was like, this is what I've been asking for. It's called Star Wars, guys. Can we get a battle in open space? Like, I just want a battle in open space. And we got something similar to that we've been waiting for since the trench run. But this was
we got a Jedi battle on that.
Yeah, but the main focus
the focus point was still on Luke and Vader and the battle. Yeah.
But this was something that I was waiting for. Like as a fan, I've been a fan of Star Wars. I got to see every one of the prequels. Got let down the second time, but I got to see every one of the prequels in theaters with a bunch of friends. And when we all saw that, it was, yeah, oh my God, did they really do that? And it was great. And I agree with you, Kirk. He gets a lot of shit for the visual effects in a lot of this. If you watch the behind the scenes stuff, they're climbing on green screen conveyor belts and everything. And it's like, no, like this is what we want when we want to see a visual effects. We want to see something stunning, something beautiful to stare at, and something impactful. And I think this, if they would have kept this kind of same visual style and maybe kept more of the practical effects, I think a lot of people wouldn't come down on it as much because it's a balance between both. But I think this opening scene was a hell of a way to start an opening scene.
Especially that one sequence where it was like homing missiles are chasing Anakin, and Anakin barrel rolls.
Yeah.
And so they eventually like beautiful shot there. But it's like with this, like in Attack of the Clones, which Kirk and I said we loved this one moment, we got to see what it was like on the land battle with all the stormtroopers fighting the battle droids. This we got to finally see what the space battle looked like for Clone.
Yeah.
Or for the Clone Wars. And it was exactly what we had wanted and what we should have gotten more of, but we didn't.
So my only issue with the land battle, I know that you guys already did the issue. The only issue with the land battle in episode 2 is that there's no actual consequences. There's really no actual consequences. It's you're just battling droids. That's my whole issues when they're just battling these.
I brought that up.
But no, this is exactly what fans were craving, and they gave it to us in the opening scene. Like, you couldn't be mad at him. There's other scenes later in the movie that you can be mad at him for, but for right now, I am not.
That is dialogue and just voice acting, which has been like that, like I said, through the entire prequel. But I mean, with this one, the stakes get a lot higher. There's a lot more emotion in this one compared to the other two. So sometimes the acting works, and other times it doesn't work, which we're gonna get to. But yeah. So anyway, what's that?
Sorry, there's only one thing I really wanted to say about that opening scene.
What?
It looks just like World War II. In space. I know, right? Not these stormtroopers, clones. No, but like if you go back and you watch like any movie with a dogfighting sequence in it, like it just put that in space, and that's what you get here, and it is by far one of my favorite scenes. It's just it was soured for me. It was like 38 minutes long.
The opening scene, you mean?
Yeah. Oh, in the cutting room, on the cutting room floor.
Oh,
well, no, like that's where like a lot of the bloated runtime came from. But they had like extended dog fights, more than one vulture droid to deal with, more than a couple of buzz droids. But I just went back and rewatched it before we did this. And I love that scene on my big screen with my sound bar and my subwoofer, bro. My room's shaking. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and then of course, like we already got into it.
I mean, I just say this. This is like I said. I mean, we kind of already covered this, but this is what Lucas does right. Like everything he did. Like this is where everything we kind of hated about the prequels comes together for something good.
Once we get through the whole, like I said, R2-D2 stuff, we do get the general introduction of Grievous at that point, which we've already talked about Grievous, so we're gonna skip over that. But we do get the not introduction, but we find Palpatine, who's sitting nice and comfy in a chair. And then we get the three-way part 2, Electric Boogaloo, between Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Dooku, who does a beautiful front flip. For an old man. but yeah, once again, Obi-Wan gets his ass beat. Apparently he can beat everybody except Dooku. And then inevitably Anakin and Dooku fight, and we get Dooku on his knees with both sabers. And Palpatine tells him, "Do it. Do it." In his Palpatine voice. Do it. Chops off Dooku's head, which me was like, oh shit. Okay. So first we get a great like battle sequence, and then we get him decapitating Dooku's head. So this movie clearly is hitting a whole different threshold with the other movies we've seen. Thoughts on the Dooku fight?
Lots of weird like head replacement special effects.
Yeah.
They really haven't perfected yet.
Lackluster, Doug.
For me, it was lackluster. I mean, that turn, how quickly he decided to turn, I think there should have been more of a kind of painstakingly turn.
When you say who are you talking about, Doug? When you say
you're talking about Anakin.
Anakin.
I mean, this guy chopped his hand off.
No, this is. But what was he doing? He had hate in his heart. He was not a Jedi. This is the reason they don't make him a part of the council.
I mean, he also killed an entire Tusken Raider camp.
No one knew that. No one knew that.
Exactly.
Yoda knew
Yoda
that
knew
because
that.
hold on, Yoda's the most powerful fucking Jedi
You
there
tell me
is.
Palpatine didn't know about that. I'm sure he told Palpatine.
Oh, he did.
They
Yeah.
did,
He
but
alludes
here's
to it in dialogue.
but here's the
Obi-Wan's
thing.
knocked out at this point, so it's anyone who's there right now is not going to be able to defend or stop Anakin from what he's doing.
I know, but it's for me. This was too quick of a turn. It was really too quick of a turn. I know there was 3 years in between. You know,
Couldn't have been Papa
two.
Palps doing a Jedi mind trick.
No, because with first of all, Palpatine is not more powerful than Anakin.
He's the most powerful. He's the most powerful Force user in the fucking.
They
Star
say
Wars
that,
galaxy.
but how do we? What's his midichlorian count?
No,
Fuck
no.
you and your midichlorian. Get out.
Please, Doug, I gotta.
Get out.
I gotta go. I'm done.
I made my one joke.
Once
No.
again, though, even before he chops his head off, he says he shouldn't do it. He has conflict, and then he's got Palpatine, who's very powerful in his ear, going, "Do it." He stops. He stops before he does it. Kirk, you're on mute.
Kirk.
Yeah.
Sorry. This goes back to what I was saying. There's too much that needs to be done in this movie. Like Anakin has to turn too quickly. If we would have had an entire movie in episode 2 where he goes from light side Anakin's or Obi-Wan's apprentice to Darth Vader, that would have worked. But we have to stuff that all into one movie, and that's the problem here, is that we have to get that started off with a bang with a decapitation. And Doug, I agree with you, it did happen too fast, but it had to because we had only one movie to make this whole thing happen.
And plus, even at this moment too, Anakin isn't full evil at that point, because if he was full evil, he would have left Obi-Wan to die, which Palpatine is trying to get him to do. He's like, no, his fate will be the same as ours. That was him still testing the waters, going, I don't have him fully yet, because he still relies on Obi-Wan.
So between the two movies, my problem is that it's a 3-year gap, but you can understand this, but his switch back off and back on it shows too quickly that he has the ability to turn it off and on.
And at this point, we didn't know that we don't know how long he's been having these dreams about Padme dying.
That's true.
And here's the thing, too, guys. We have to understand that we have to plug in canon here, and Clone Wars is part of the canon. So we know we have I'm not exactly sure, like the end of Clone Wars, how far that is away from.
Not over yet.
Season 6 has got to come out.
Yeah, but I don't know the difference between what we have so far in Clone Wars to Episode 3, what that time frame is. But whatever it is, we see Anakin. Like, I mean, the good thing about Clone Wars is they establish Anakin and Obi-Wan as as friends and Anakin as a person. Exactly, but we don't start to see that real turn until Episode 3, until that decapitation.
We do start to see the turn a little bit in Clone Wars when they shun Ahsoka. Because Anakin... Yeah,
is that literally like the last scene of Clone Wars?
No, that happens.
It was technically one of the last ones, and then
doesn't that happen?
Well, no, they added. Well, so it was supposed to be the end. They added another season, and then they added the unfinished 6th season.
Yeah.
I was about to say, doesn't that happen before Obi-Wan and Maul's whole thing, where Maul kills Obi-Wan's one true love?
Well, no. So here's the thing about it. Is like there's a specific order in which you're supposed to watch it, because it's an anthology show, so all of the episodes happen out of order. Like some of it's like the first 3 episodes in season 2 are the actual they released the entire way to watch it in chronological order for Disney Plus. For Disney Plus, they actually released the entire way you're supposed to watch it, and Ahsoka being let go and being turned away from the Jedi and then asked to come back is one of the last episodes in the show.
Which is where you start to see where Anakin starts to really become more open to how the Jedi aren't on the up and up, which is what makes him more open to Palpatine. And because of what Dooku did and all this stuff, that's why he's so open to killing, which even then, when he does try to kill him, he stops. He goes, I shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
And then, of course, right after he does it, he's like, that wasn't the Jedi way. I shouldn't have done that. And then Palpatine goes, it's not the first time you've lost control. You remember the Sand People? So that's where that whole situation is at.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he had. I mean, Sean, you're right a little bit because he had to do something here to show. I mean, because he does some pretty brutal things later in this movie. There had to be some setup for that.
It was building and building and building. Problem is that, like I said, we didn't have the Clone Wars before this.
Yeah, no, that came out 3 years afterwards.
On Doug's situation, I agree, but now we have that stuff. We didn't have that before.
Yeah. I'm taking this from as seeing it like it's the first time.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
That's fair.
And that's what we should be doing, actually.
Because for me, that's the problem with this entire movie. Everything, just like Kirk said, everything happens way too fast. They rush everything.
Well, it's like I said with the whole Grievous thing. It's like we're introduced to Grievous. If you had never seen the cartoon miniseries, it's just this weird robot-looking dude who's coughing, and he's got all these lightsabers. And we're like, "What the? Oh, okay." You know, and then what's the guy do as soon as they attack? He runs away.
Yep.
But I will admit, those his bodyguards, those are pretty freaking cool.
Yes.
His bodyguards, like they decapitate and they still keep fighting. Those are some cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called.
They're called Magna Guards.
Magna Guards.
There you go.
But yeah, those were cool. I liked those.
And again, that's what Lucas does best: the cool, like little, like effects and little character, like visual characters like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are his strong points.
Can we also talk about Obi-Wan's new fighting style?
Yeah, like
this. I'm like, when did you start doing that, bro?
in the 3 years that Clone Wars was taking place.
Your whole style. It's like, dude, you need like a bring it, and also
you kind of understand why he switched up his styles, because the last time he faced a powerful opponent, he lost.
Which
so
he still got his ass kicked in this one.
Yeah. So Obi-Wan, step your game up. But no, Kung Fu Obi-Wan is
Kung Fu Obi.
Obi Kung Fu. It's called Obi Fu. Obi Fu is now donned.
I just
style.
Fu.
But that's
I can't say. I mean, it's pretty cool though that they go back and they that whole Lucas's whole like influence from like Japanese cinema and Kurosawa. Little nods to that are nice to see.
Mm-hmm. So Grievous escapes. We get a crash landing on Coruscant. Then we get the big introduction that Padme's pregnant, which I think was a huge disservice to Natalie Portman in this movie, but it had to happen because that's the way the story goes. Because it really kind of just shoulders Padme through the whole film. Because now she's just playing the pregnant wife role and really not.
What's wrong?
Tell me.
Yeah, it really, which of course that's where we also get to discuss the introduction of Anakin dreaming the future again, which we have not seen since the first film, where he's dreaming Padme's death during childbirth. Yeah, which does he know that it's during childbirth, or do we just know that he thinks she's dying?
He literally says, "I have a dream. You die in childbirth."
Okay.
Yeah, because he knows she's pregnant before he starts having the dreams.
Yeah, and then like I said, of course, we start to get the little inklings of Palpatine kind of whispering in his ear more, which we didn't get in Attack of the Clones. I don't think. Do they ever have a scene together in Attack of the Clones? Palpatine.
I'm sure they do.
Not without other people around.
Yeah.
We never get them alone. This is where we start to get they clearly have been seeing each other away from everyone else too, and having these talks and stuff like that. To the point where he opens up to Palpatine more than he ever did to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It's
not weird because Palpatine's not going to judge him for what he did on Tatooine with the Tusken Raiders. Obi-Wan will.
Which is a big problem, in my opinion, of what they did with the Clone Wars. Because if you didn't trust Obi-Wan, why did they make him so close in Clone Wars? I know we're watching this for the first time, like we're watching it, but
because you have to sell the friendship from A New Hope. The way they built up the friendship in the original trilogy, you have to sell it. You have to give something to make them have a connection.
Then why don't
connection doesn't exist in the original trilogy?
I know, and here's the thing. Why do you not trust Obi-Wan, someone who's supposed to be your brother, someone who's your teacher?
Obi-Wan is a Boy Scout when it comes to the Jedi Order.
No,
because he is.
Because he still deals with the criminals on the lower level. So you know that he's trusted.
It's not even that. It that harkens back. Obi-Wan's not a Boy Scout. It harkens back to the fact that he made a promise to Qui-Gon Jinn that he would train Anakin, even though the Jedi said the council said no, we aren't going to train him, and he still ended up. So Obi-Wan knows when to bend the rules, and you get it in the Clone Wars, and you do get it in the Clone Wars. When he's
but enough to the point that he's able to be on the council, though.
Question: when in the movie is Obi-Wan on the council and they deny him?
That's right after.
Isn't it before the whole Palpatine fight?
Is it before?
It's before the Palpatine fight, because it's Palpatine who says, "I'm selecting you to be my representative for the
Not on the council. Yeah.
Well, yeah. He's like, well, no, because Anakin's gets super excited at that point in time. A master, the council will never go for this. And then the next scene is them talking about the fact that there's too much going on here, and you're granted a seat on the council, but you are not granted the rank of master. And then he throws his little fucking hissy fit about not being given the rank of master.
Yeah, which is around the middle part.
Okay, because that's the only thing that I could.
Because when he goes and tells Mace about Palpatine, that I believe he's a Sith Lord, then Mace is like, okay, we'll probably now discuss potentially maybe you becoming a master now.
So that's my only point. If that happens before he starts really talking to Palpatine, then maybe that's the reason why. But again, it's showing for me, Anakin was supposed to be this character that was strong, that was trusted, that turned.
Even in the movie,
like
Mace and Yoda don't. Well, at least Mace anyway does not think Anakin can be trusted because of his connection to Palpatine.
But here's my thing. Even with that, we all know people, and we all know everybody has a secret. Everybody is not everything that they seem.
I mean, we got Obi-Wan with his lover that we don't ever. I mean, at this point, we didn't know that existed. But.
No, but it was there. It almost caused him to fall to the dark side, which I think would be an easy, like, they could have dropped something like that. If Anakin decided to be like, yo, I fucked up, I slaughtered this entire village, and he told Obi-Wan about it, Obi-Wan almost did the exact same thing. So I think Obi-Wan would get where he was coming from with that and wouldn't be overly critical about it. There are just steps that he would have to take in order to correct that, and they could have moved forward without him ever being tempted by the dark side.
Because even Padme is like, I think you're on the wrong side of this conversation, and Anakin, kind of
you betrayed me.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about in the beginning of the movie.
No, she says that she's talking like a separatist.
Sound like a separatist because they're having. Because even Padme's going, I think you're on the wrong side of this. I think you're siding with the wrong person. Because she's like, no, you should listen to Obi-Wan and the Jedis, and he's like, no, Palpatine. She's like, I don't think you're in the right mindset right now. And then of course, because he's focusing on what's going on with her and his friendship with Palpatine. Kirk, thoughts? You've been kind of quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this all boils down to them trying to squeeze too much into this movie. I know I've said this before, but if they would have more time to develop this, like I said, a whole movie, a whole episode 2 of Anakin slowly making that turn, then this whole conversation could have been avoided. But because we had to force this in so fast, we have to have things where he's going a little dark too fast, and a little too weird things, wonky things are happening that don't make sense compared to what we know about the earlier versions of him and the what happened to the Clone Wars.
Which of course this leads to the opera scene.
Yeah.
Where once we get the introduction to Pegasus. Which is to me the final, not the final, but it's like it's because Palpatine calls for Anakin to show up there because he knows, he's like, I gotta hook him now. Like, I've got him, now I need to hook him. And that's where he develops the whole like,
it's not a story from a Jedi.
Exactly. And that's where he's like, okay, now I've got the bait. I'm waiting for him to bite. Here's the bite. It's coming. And and of course that which leads to when Mason Palpatine are fighting. He's like, Mason's gonna kill Palpatine, which once again not the Jedi way. But the Anakin's like, no, I need
Dangerous to be left alive.
Yeah, which once again not the Jedi way.
Well, I just want to say one thing about the opera scene.
Yeah.
Do you know how much big dick energy it takes to be like, leave us, and then openly talk about murdering your Sith master and bringing Anakin into the fold? Bro, he whipped his dick out and just said, deal with it, Doug.
He doesn't say he's a Sith, though. He's still playing it off like he learned about this from somewhere, which should have been Anakin going,
Yeah, this scene is the biggest problem in the movie because this is a scene where, like, at the very least, Palpatine is like, hey, the Sith are pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Just taste the dark side.
Yeah,
they're kind of
Anakin.
You know what I mean? And like this should have been the scene where Anakin was like made a decision, because like if nothing else, like
no, I don't think
Palpatine told him like he's really, really, really cool with the Sith, even if he's not a Sith. Like he's a fanboy of the Sith at this point, and Anakin should be like either like, you know what, no, or.
Which he does.
Okay, let's talk about more.
Later,
he ends up going to Mace and telling him.
I believe.
I don't think at this point though.
After the Opera House, finding out that he's Darth Sidious.
Not then. He doesn't do it.
There's another scene because Anakin's kind of dumb. There's another scene where Palpatine has to basically tell him.
Because Anakin does go to Obi-Wan after this, because Obi-Wan has to leave to go to.
Yeah, that's right. To go kill.
What planet is that? What is it?
Utapau.
Yeah, so we have that whole conversation, and he doesn't say anything.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my biggest problem with the whole movie.
And then, of course, after that, we go to Kashyyyk.
Yeah, Kashyyyk.
Where obviously the Wookiees live. We get
a fan service planet.
Hey. Listen, Yoda knows Chewbacca.
Yoda and Chewbacca are tight.
They're tight.
Can we talk about the fact that like this is the first real introduction to Tarful? Like,
sure.
Yeah.
I may just think like this is like where they're like, oh, the Wookiee planet is so important. Well, why? We're never told why. Because Chewbacca's there, and we all know Chewbacca, and we'll buy Chewbacca toys. So that's why. Because
we'll buy Chewbacca toys. It sounds like these movies were almost made for children.
Almost.
Not this one.
This one's got this one.
It's the only PG-13 rated Star Wars movie.
That's because of a certain scene that comes later, and
it wasn't the beheading at the beginning of the movie.
So we get the conversation with Obi-Wan and Anakin, and then we get Obi-Wan on the what was the planet name again, Jay?
Utapau,
which we get easily one of the most annoying fucking creatures in all of Star Wars, which is that damn lizard horse that he rides. It goes the whole fucking time with like. Jesus,
it's called a boga.
I don't care. It's annoying as hell. We find out that Grievous is already on there, and then of course we get the way Jay likes to say, the good old big dick energy from Obi-Wan with easily the best pickup line in the entire Star Wars franchise of "Hello there."
Hello
there.
Yeah, but can we talk about this?
What's that?
Like, can we talk about this? Like.
We are talking about it.
Yeah, but I mean that particular scene, like,
go ahead.
It makes no sense. Like, why would he do that?
What part makes no sense?
Like, he just dives in, like, instead of being smart and like waiting for a moment, he just dives in. Like, he should have been murdered instantly. Yeah. Other than the fact he had to survive. Like, I mean, he's surrounded by droids. General Grievous has 15 lightsabers and 19 arms, and he's swinging around. And how, like, other than the fact that he has survived episode 4 because episode 4 already happened, there's no reason Obi-Wan survives this fight. Like that hello there was the dumbest move ever.
Well, at this point, he has
Hello there.
He's already contacted everyone to come there, so he knows that coming at that point. So he can be that cocky son of a bitch. That's saucy Ewan McGregor. Hello there.
Saucy.
Saucy.
Hey, it worked with Alec Guinness. Even he goes, hello there, in New Hope.
Hello there.
Of course I know. It's me.
He does. So yeah, he follows that up. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I'll admit he does jump into literally like a 1-on-20 battle at this point. But Grievous also though is overly cocky and says, everyone, he's mine.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of thing. Which, yeah, at that point, maybe because Obi-Wan knows Grievous, he's like, well, I'm safe in the sense where they're not gonna shoot me. Because I know Grievous is gonna want me 1-on-1, so I don't have to worry about all these droids. Exactly. I'm not gonna worry about all these droids interrupting because they're droids and they're gonna follow orders.
Roger.
Yeah, Roger. God, I hate that.
I'm so glad I wasn't here for the episode 1 because
Roger.
No, they're 1,000 times worse in Clone Wars. 1,000 times worse.
Roger.
Conversation.
Can I talk about this, Sean, or are we too deep in episode 3 to talk about this?
What, the battle droids?
The battle droids, because
they're in the movie. They're in the movie, so go ahead.
Yeah, but like the whole thing where it's like they're just machines that are there to get killed, but also they kind of have personality.
Yeah, they do.
And,
they have personality.
They're kind of sentient, so like we're like kind of laughing at these sentient beings just being murdered comically.
What if the stormtroopers in these movies were comical?
Yeah, but they never were. They were just blank, like evil faces.
Oh, I know. Like even in Phantom Menace, like, where are you going? The Coruscant. That doesn't compute. You're under arrest.
Yeah, I mean, I will go deep into it because I mean, this is an episode 1 topic and an episode 1 problem. But yeah.
Can we talk about when Grievous pulls out his forearms and he starts doing like a crab walk as he's just like, yeah, exactly. He's literally doing like an orangutan, like coming at him.
And then his hand starts spinning. Like that's a real good defense there.
Yeah,
it's like when you were a kid.
I think Obi-Wan. I think. or it's like Talladega Nights. I'm gonna helicopter you. Oh no! It's a big deflection. But yeah, even Obi-Wan's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's what made Obi-Wan go, what the fuck about this movie? Okay.
But yeah, it's like even then that defense was like, I'm just gonna stick my lightsaber in the windmill and that'll stop it, which it does.
Yeah.
He learned that from episode 1 when he had to open the door, guys.
That was Qui-Gon. That was Qui-Gon that does that, by the way.
I'm just saying he learned the lesson.
Yeah.
He learned the
But
lesson.
it was there.
Yes, and then inevitably, very easily, he just starts taking on.
Guys, I've never taken fencing lessons. Like, I don't know about anything about sword fighting. But honestly, is it possible if the other dude has 4 swords and you have 1? Is there any way you're going to win that fight?
If you're faster.
I mean, if the person with the 4 is a douche who doesn't know how to properly.
Who does this?
Who's doing this the whole time?
No, I mean, if your fencing lessons are a 10 and the dude you're fighting is at a 5, but that guy at a 5 has 4 swords, I mean, 4 times 5 is 20.
Oh, you're talking about a guy who is a 5 with
Math.
1 sword, and you're gonna have 4. That makes it like a 2 with 4 because he's doing the same thing with each one, which technically makes him worse because he doesn't. If he doesn't know, if he's a 5 with 1,
Kirk, attack me.
Better.
Kirk, attack me. Can you get through my defense?
Doug, you come at me like that, I'm just gonna kick you in the ball.
Well,
He's gonna do what he does at the end of the fight and just fucking Indiana Jones him, bro. Just kill you right in the fucking heart.
First off, he's Indiana Jones. He fucking molests him by like grabbing his chest and ripping his chest open. And then
Indiana Jones did that to Marion Lockwood.
off camera. off camera. We don't see that on camera. But no, it's like it's one of those things where it's like, once again, this is once again, like I said at the beginning of the video, the Grievous we knew prior to this would have destroyed Obi-Wan with 4 lightsabers. Not the movie Grievous, which is basically a comical version of that. I mean, heck, you mute the sound and stuff. You can really play the as he's doing the little dance. Because it's like, what the fuck is this thing?
I mean, we talk about R2 having plot armor. Doesn't Obi-Wan have plot armor because he has to live?
Obi-Wan has episode 4 plot armor.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got episode 4 plot armor. He's got to make it to a fight with Darth Vader and just give up.
Yeah.
Just let him take.
That might be a conversation for another day.
Which is also why
I don't know.
Obi-Wan had gone to that planet with multiple Jedi, and Grievous took out all of them, and then Obi-Wan was the only one left.
Yeah.
And okay, he's a badass at that point. But no, we just get him going.
Jedi only get stronger when their allies die.
But again,
if that's the case, them 30 fucking Jedi that stormed in episode 2 would have ended the war right then and there.
But it's one of those things where it's like you need to build this up as a threat for Obi-Wan, and outside of watching those cartoons, this is not a threat.
No.
At all. Dooku was a threat.
Yeah.
Grievous is not a threat from what we've seen so far. Because never at one point in this movie, do we ever feel like Obi-Wan's yes, we know he's gonna survive, but there's still the element that's what makes a good wrestling match. Is even though you're like, I know this guy's gonna win. Your job is to give them at least one split moment where you're like, maybe he might not.
Yeah. And
they don't do that in this moment. There's never a moment in this movie where we're like, Obi-Wan's not gonna win this.
Yeah.
Because there's never a moment where Grievous, because even when they first start fighting and Obi-Wan takes off 2 of his hands, what does Grievous do? He fucking runs away again.
Yeah.
And it becomes a chase scene. Because Grievous is a bitch in this movie. Like, never in one moment, which first off, that fucking loud-ass horse thingy that he rides should never have caught Grievous on his spinning wheel thing. There's no way, speed-wise, he should have ever caught back up to him.
Hold on.
Oh, he's about to defend the horse thing.
I'm not about to defend the horse thing. But so let's talk about a different movie where this thing's not as fast as this other thing. Let's talk about The Mummy. When the horses are racing the camels.
You talking about the Brendan Fraser Mummy?
Yeah, the 1989 Mummy. When they're running towards Hamunaptra.
Oh, the camel.
Yes, that's its terrain though. That's just it. That entire area is that lizard thing's terrain. So I would assume that it would be fast enough. Yeah, but everything that it bumps slows it down minusculely, and there are a whole bunch of shit in the way.
Yeah.
Plus,
I see where you're going, Jay. I see where you're going. But if you watch that scene, there's no way that thing should catch up to Grievous.
It's okay. It's not about the ride. It's about the driver.
About the experience, God.
I watched Ford versus Ferrari. It's about the driver. Thank you.
Ford versus Ferrari. It's my number 3 movie of the year.
It's good.
It's freaking amazing. But like I said, once again, it's like you never ever put, except for when he takes everyone off the thing. That's the first moment we ever have at any part where we think there's danger. For Obi-Wan, but even then Obi-Wan pulls out the gun and just shoots 3 times, like 2 times in the chest or 3 times in the chest.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
the one part of Grievous that's like not robotic, which is once again just like convenient.
Yeah,
and then of course we get the great "so uncivilized" gun throwaway, which
I mean that's a good line, but it's not.
No, like I said, Big Dick Energy by Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Anything else on the Grievous fight?
Not really. I think we touched on a lot of it.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just it has to be, it's all just condensed, and Obi-Wan has to make it to the next movie. So,
and you have to have him separate from everybody else for Order 66.
True. No, it's just one of those things where it's like just like with Boba Fett, just like with Phasma, you build this cool looking character. and you shit on him, and you don't give him anything worthwhile. Now, could you read
the main bad guy?
But I mean, you build them up in books, you build them up in other stories, then you give them the movie, and they're just nothing.
I mean, I get Sean's point. It's a character that could have been really, really cool to see him actually give Obi-Wan a fight.
In hindsight, Dooku's got just about as much screen time as Grievous does. If we're calculating total screen time with Dooku and Grievous, they have about the same screen time, and Christopher Lee does way fucking more as Dooku than they ever do with Grievous.
Christopher Lee stunt doubles.
You know what I'm talking about. I know Jay's just trying to be funny. You know what I'm talking about.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
My issue too with Grievous as a whole is he's just not an imposing force. I mean, the first time you see the guy on the big screen, he's running away, coughing.
It's George Lucas's cough, by the way.
And can I point out that again, going back to the micro series, that gives you the reason for the cough.
Yes, but in like I said, Kirk, 80% of the people that are watching this movie.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, we got to take the movie on its own. I agree with you.
So once we get done with the whole Grievous thing, which I guess this happens in between the fight, but we get the reveal of Palpatine being an actual Sith. He talks to Anakin and basically says, I can make you more powerful than any Jedi.
I can show you how to protect her.
I can save Padme if you just follow me. Which, once again, like I said to Doug earlier, Anakin's not there yet because what does he do? He pulls his lightsaber out on Palpatine, and it's like, I'm gonna stop you.
But then, my issue is, why not bring him to the council? Would you want to bring Palpatine to the temple at that point? I don't know. Do you know how many guards are in the temple? You literally Mace first.
I don't
we wouldn't have had
how many guards there are.
No. All right, so for
four fucking Jedi Masters
in less than
the span of a 3-second fucking intro to a fight.
Kit Fisto, man, R.I.P.
Rip.
What'd you say?
He said Kit Fisto.
R.I.P.
Gotcha.
But
he was the coolest looking Jedi.
So here's the thing: we wouldn't have had Mace's turn the way he turned. We wouldn't have had them just having 4 people there, because let's be honest, no one expected Palpatine to be that powerful. If you bring him in, you don't have Anakin turn.
But I mean, what you're saying, Doug, is that everything has to serve that Anakin turn, even if it makes 0 sense to the story.
Exactly. Now, if we did not know he was going to become Vader or anything like that, then yes, I 100% agree with you, Doug. He needs to go to the Jedi Temple. But because we know it's got to go, just like with Obi-Wan against Grievous, we know he's got to make it to 4. We know Anakin's got to turn.
We know Palpatine's got to make it to 6.
Well, that too. But that's why.
We're talking about a whole program.
That last dig at Anakin, being like, well, no, you're not gonna. No, you stay here because I can't trust you to bring him in. Even though you came to me with this information, Mace is still going, nah, fuck you, kid. I don't trust you. If you stay here, I'll trust you.
Well, yeah, because he's been with the Emperor. He's been with the Emperor for so long. The Emperor.
The Emperor. Unlimited power.
The Emperor.
Unlimited power.
Unlimited power.
But no, he's been hanging out with Palpatine so much that I would understand why Mace Windu wouldn't want him there, because even if it didn't come to a fight, you have a biased party.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I'm saying that's that dig that you needed Anakin to go.
I don't think that's a dig, though.
To Anakin, it is.
I knew Anakin was going back, and so did everybody else. I mean, once he got told by Mace, because here's the thing.
You shouldn't have been a little bitch then.
You're told the woman that you love is able to be saved.
Yeah.
And Doug, I agree. And this goes back to what I said. This is the best story would have got with the time we had left in the movie we had left.
Absolutely.
And within that frame, this makes complete sense. They did the best job they could with having one movie left and having to make all this happen with one movie. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Within that headspace, yeah, this all works.
Yeah, once we got into the thick of the story, this is when it gets good. Now, obviously, bad acting or bad dialogue aside, it's still this is when it's like, okay, George, you're finally hitting your stride.
Yeah,
you finally hit that gear where you're like, okay, you're doing this. I mean, you take the soap opera because there's still soap opera stuff in this, just like there was in Attack of the Clones. Mainly the big turn on Mustafar with Anakin and Padme, but yeah, I mean, we like I said, we get the conversation with Mace and Anakin. Mace tells him stay put. If you stay put, then I'll know that I can trust you, which of course Anakin, like Jay says, a little bitch, and decides I'm not gonna wait like a child, just like every kid. They never listen and they always go. And then of course we get to the big showdown between which Jay wants to talk about this scene so bad. I know he's been waiting to talk about this scene. The Palpatine versus the Jedi scene. Jay, have at it, because he's been waiting to talk about this moment.
This is the one thing that irritates me the most about this movie. These are Jedi Masters. They're not just Force Masters. They're Jedi Masters. They have to have more than a moderate amount of skill with both the Force and a lightsaber. You've got 4 people. You've got Mace Windu. Actually, is it 4 or 5? You got 5 people, I think.
4, I think.
4. No, it
4.
is 4.
Mace.
So you've got you've got 4 with Mace.
Kit Fisto, those 2 other guys.
Yeah, the 2 other guys who don't really mean shit because they never really got named.
Yeah. I mean, they're all named.
They walk in, great.
Of course they are.
So they walk in, they confront Palpatine. It's treason then. And he does the switchblade shit with his fucking lightsaber up his robe. Did he just put it up there? Has he always had it up there? He's carrying it in his armpit.
That gun shooter thing.
Is he just holding it in his armpit? Like, what's up? Like,
he's got that wrist thing.
But then he jumps, runs 1 through. 1 is understandable. One of them masters dying is understandable.
What about his corkscrew spin?
I said, okay. So bad CGI aside, bad CGI is bad CGI.
You get 1 by surprise.
You can get 1 by surprise. Yeah. 1, I will give you 1. Then you get the other 1. You get 1 attack by Kit Fisto and Mace Windu, and then Kit Fisto gets nothing.
That's the worst.
And then, bro, that's disrespectful, first and foremost. Second off, then it's just Mace Windu and him. There's one thing, and Kirk brought it up earlier, but I brought it up when me and Brian were talking off stream. There's a scene in this fight scene that's really reminiscent of an old school samurai flick. They've both got their guards up like this. They both give a quick double tap, a turn, and just like a swish of their saber. It's like a quintessential like samurai movie scene when they're testing each other with the high guard, and then they both switch places and still try to attack each other and then draw back up. There's things about this that I like. I just think it's disrespectful that these are masters. These are people who have been granted seats on the Jedi Council who couldn't beat a teenaged, Anakin Skywalker in a lightsaber duel. Anakin should have been a master just based on his fucking lightsaber prowess alone.
But my side argument to that is, have any of these Jedi ever dealt with a Master Sith Lord?
No.
Exactly.
It's no different.
It is. That's one that I will say it's different. Do you think any of them would have been able to take on Bane? No. Bane would have sliced all of them down.
First and foremost, Bane wouldn't have done some douchey spinning corkscrew move. Bane would have fought them all.
Not talking about it. Not talking about it.
Real about it.
Okay, right. Plagueis then. Would any of them be able to take on Plagueis?
Yes.
No. Mace would have got chopped down by himself.
You know who else?
Here's the thing.
That killed this lead.
What they did with Palpatine there is what they should have done with Grievous with Obi-Wan. They did the exact thing that we just talked about with Palpatine that they should have done with Obi-Wan. Show how dangerous he is by having him knock off some nobody Jedi. Now, yes, one of them wasn't a nobody. We know who that Jedi was. He did kind of get fucked over. But if you could have had just 4 or 5 generic Jedi, because you're saying it was okay, Jay, you just said it was okay with Grievous to do that. But it's not okay that Palpatine does it?
No,
but they were masters. So the difference is, if they were Jedi Knights that went with Obi-Wan and they sliced them down, it would show a little bit of arrogance and ability.
Grievous, Palpatine. Actually, no, Grievous, Palpatine.
Take that Grievous hand down a little bit more.
I will.
It's off.
It's off screen.
It's off screen.
It's off screen.
I agree with Jay. I don't think that. What I think they should have did was have 2 masters there, 2 Jedi Knights. That's what it should have been. But being the same, they thought the Sith were gone. They thought they were gone.
And they're overconfident.
They weren't prepared.
Arrogance of Jedi.
Arrogance of the Jedi, exact point. Because Mace was super arrogant. Super arrogant going into that fight. And I'm pretty much sure every other one of them were arrogant and they weren't ready for it. That doesn't mark her down that it should have been 4 masters going. Should not have been. Because 4 masters should have been able to hold their own a little bit better. At least 2 of them should have been able to hold their own a little bit. Even if they died, it should have been a longer fight and it should have been a better battle. Because I loved everything about the scene except for that. I agree with Jay on that standpoint. Because it was sick. It was sick seeing.
Have a good fight. Mace and Palpatine have a good fight.
They have an okay fight.
That one moment where they both swipe and blow out the window is fucking sick.
That's a good point of the scene, but
that's a good visual in that scene.
That's a good visual scene for the fight.
Let Kirk go. Let Kirk.
Yeah, sorry.
Mace has Palpatine beat until Anakin chooses.
Yeah. Which is one of the reasons why he didn't want Anakin to show up in the first place.
Yeah.
It's Samuel L. Jackson, that's why. And he's a bad motherfucker.
Motherfucker with the purple.
Hold on. Okay, so I know we're a little bit past it, but there's one thing that I really wanted to mention, and I've thought about this all day. When Yoda is talking to Anakin, and Anakin tells Yoda about his dreams of Padme, and don't mourn for, don't hold on to people. Jealousy is attachment of greed, which leads to the dark side. Dude, some words of encouragement. I know what you're saying is pseudo-philosophical, and I get that. But the troubled past that this kid has. So instead of doing anything, you just try to indoctrinate him further into this. Yes, in the long run, don't mourn for people is a good idea to strive towards.
Compassion isn't something Yoda learns until this event happens.
You're not wrong.
And it's not until even after he dies, because it wasn't compassion that he showed Luke. We can discuss that later. It's definitely not compassion. He just literally wanted Luke to beat his father. That's what it was. Yoda was not a compassionate individual. I know everybody's like, he's cute, he's lovable. He has never been compassionate.
No, that's a good point. But what I'm saying is Yoda is smart enough to hide the fact, because I pointed this out in our episode 2 talk. Hashtag, where did all these dead kids come from? But in the episode 2 talk, you can literally, he's in the same Yoda's in the same chamber that he's in, and he hears the Tusken Raiders dying. He hears Anakin yelling. He senses that pain from Anakin, and he keeps that shit under wraps for the most part. They don't do anything to him about that. But I think just a little bit more guidance, a little bit of a stronger hand to help Anakin with some of this shit other than trust in the Force.
Because that's Yoda's guideline, trust in the Force. That's what he believes on. That's the hill that the Jedi died upon. Trust in the Force. Yoda, even when he's on,
we're smarter than that. The Sith aren't back. Don't worry about it. Don't mind those dead kids. We're sweeping under the rugs.
AKA trust in the Force.
All right. Kirk, do you have any? Because Jay and Doug said their film. Do you have anything to say about the Mace Windu fight before Anakin shows up?
No, I mean I'm on board with everything they said. I mean it's not a it's something that should have been a little longer, and at least they should have showed a little more respect to those Jedi Masters. But yeah, I mean I agree with everything they said. There's definitely.
I'm going to bring this up. Jay knows I'm going to bring it up because I brought it up before we started the episode. We talked about that we got to see Palpatine's vinegar stroke during mid-fight with Palpatine. Yeah, Jay, you knew I was bringing it up. Y'all, come on. You didn't see that moment?
Say again, I'm sorry, I didn't catch you.
Yeah, we got to see Palpatine's vinegar stroke face while he was fighting Mace Windu.
He just wanted to hear you say vinegar stroke.
It's going to happen. That is going to be the hashtag. Hashtag Pabst vinegar strokes.
Pabst vinegar strokes. It's the new Pabst Blue Ribbons fucking moniker.
Pabst vinegar strokes. It's that one point where he goes like.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. Pull it
up and show them because it's it's glorious because it makes you want to go.
The
what
worst thing on the face of the planet, but it's so goddamn funny.
Like, how did George Lucas go? Don't do that face. don't do that face.
Maybe you shouldn't make that face.
Yeah, that leaves a lot of implications. You have the time card because I have the time card for it.
Oh yeah, what was it?
112:49.
112:29.
Oh, 49. 112:49.
112:49. All right.
It's his face. It's beautiful. It's like it's just like, okay, Palpatine. That is that's a choice. That is definitely a choice you made there.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Hold up. All right. So no dead air, no dead air, no dead air.
I just watched it back myself. It's so fucking ridiculous. But yes, I even when I first saw this movie, I noticed that right away, and I was just like, there it is. That face right there. That is Palp's vinegar strokes right there, everybody. He's totally got a hard on with the Schwartz is strong with him.
Well, he's about to thrust. So.
He is like, I'm gonna stick him good. And he misses. that moment has stuck with me since I saw it for the very first time because I was just like, what the fuck kind of face is that?
Can we blame that on head replacement technology though?
No, that's 100% Ian McDermott right there.
That's him going, this is a choice that I'm making. I'm finally having an awesome lightsaber battle. I'm gonna fucking enjoy this.
I've waited 30 years to actually swing a lightsaber, so I'll blame it into it.
Yes, I am finally.
Okay, it's why Obi-Wan was smiling throughout the entirety of the first episode.
Yes, which I did point out. I was like, why the fuck is Obi-Wan smiling the entire time in the first 15 minutes of the movie?
Because I'm in Star Wars, bitch.
I wanted to make sure that got mentioned because I was not going to leave that unnoticed. And Jay and Brian talked about this off screen. We were just laughing. I was like, I'm bringing this up. But yeah, so Mace eventually gets the upper hand, and of course we get the no.
Unlimited power.
Unlimited power. Yeah, and then of course we get the he's gonna kill. of course we get the Anakin. He's going to kill me. No, he is the traitor. It's like this is when the bad dialogue comes in, and Anakin's just sitting there.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, and then eventually, yes, he. Then we get and Brian did want us to touch up on this, the horrible makeup job of Palpatine moment, because his face basically just looks like a shriveled up dick. I mean, it's basically a shriveled up penis.
It's a butt crack. It's a butt crack for it.
It's horrible looking, but eventually, yes, Anakin turns, cuts off Mace Windu's hand, pushes him out the window, and of course, my favorite dialogue: "What have I done?
What have I
done?" Yes, which Yeah,
Almost as good as a line that comes later in the movie.
but I love that performance.
Only Sith stealing absolutes. Oh, that's not what you're talking about.
No, I love that Hayden. Like, what have I done? And then he falls down, like he can't hold up anymore. But
This
then
episode
again,
not brought to you by Bang. Bang. It's
I'm
what's
so
in you.
glad this isn't being monetized because we wouldn't be able to keep it.
It's what Palpatine likes to do.
Especially when he thrusts his lightsabers into a Jedi. How vinegar shows coming to the grocery store near you.
Can we talk about the funniest thing in the world, which is that he's called Darth Vader, and he doesn't have children yet.
Vader.
You're Darth Vader.
Children will come later.
Well, technically, Padme is pregnant, so he is a father at this point.
But I mean, it's technically not like German or whatever that language is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're not.
Well, no,
I mean,
so what it is it's Vater, Vater in German, father.
Yeah.
Darth doesn't necessarily mean dark either. So, like, people are taking the Anna Kendrick.
F you, Anna Kendrick.
Don't say that.
No,
Jerry. That's not.
Well, no,
it is.
Anna
It
Kendrick's
is.
treasure.
Okay, F you. What's that movie called? I almost said Sing Street.
Whoa,
Kirk has had a little bit to drink today.
A little bit.
Flipped the table if you said that.
I would have flipped the table.
I love that movie.
That movie's
I love that movie.
We all love Sing Street here at Movie Crusaders.
Yeah, don't say anything about Sing Street.
But yeah, so we get the actual birth of Darth Vader human version.
Darth Vader 1.0.
Yeah, version 1.0. There you go.
Go somewhere.
Wow. You guys are never be able to line that up properly. But yes, and then of course we get to Kirk's favorite part. No, it's Order 66 first, isn't it?
It's Order 66 first, yeah.
Order 66. So yeah, we get to Order 66. Obi-Wan gets shot down off the cliff. Jay, go ahead and start naming all the Jedi because I don't know their names.
So Obi-Wan gets shot first when he's riding his boga. You get Ki-Adi-Mundi, I believe on Seleucami, who gets shot, and I don't know why people in the fan links have such a hard time pronouncing his name. It's Ki-Adi-Mundi. Then you get Ayla Secura.
Hard, Jay.
Look, we're not George Patankaning this here, buddy. It's Ki-Adi-Mundi. Okay, it's not that hard, and that's really a shot at Coho and Tim Berkala. Love y'all, but seriously, it's Ki-Adi-Mundi. Ayla Secura gets shot on Felucia. She's the one with the really terrible.
He's the one that does the horrible acting of getting shot like this and falls over.
Kato Nemoidia is the Jedi that gets shot down in the Starfighter is Plo Koon. He gets shot. Plo Koon, Koto
R.I.P.
Rip. He gets shot down over Kato Nemoidia, which is like the only time you actually get to see it, even though it was referenced earlier in the movie. Come on, Master, I've saved your skin 10 times. 9. That business on Kato Nemoidia did not count. Like, I want to see that. I want to see why. Not on Kato Nemoidia.
We did? Oh, we did.
No.
Anyway, keep going, Jeff.
Those are the 3 that you get. Those are the 4 that you get. You get Obi-Wan getting shot, but he doesn't die. He survives. Ki-Adi-Mundi gets blasted on the bridge. Ayla Secura gets blasted under the frond of that big ass plant, and Plo Koon gets repeatedly.
Yeah, they just,
Yeah, and then Ki-Adi-Mundi, fucking Plo Koon gets shot out of the sky.
And here's the problem with all that.
Obi-Wan getting shot as that freaking horse alien thing dies finally, because that's the best part.
Okay. I kind of like the Godfather vibe this had to it.
Yeah, it's very,
But here's the thing. The extinction of the Godfather, the Jedi, we'd been waiting to see for 30 years. Like, how did that happen? How did the Jedi get taken out? And it's just like that, and it's over.
It's them being reliant on like it's like people being reliant on the internet and technology stuff like that. They think they have all this fucking stuff.
But here's the thing, from a filmmaking standpoint, I remember when I got the episode 3 DVD. I was so excited. I sat and watched the entire commentary, and the commentary was like George Lucas and a couple of special effects guys, and they were all like cutting it out. And I'm like, I want to get George Lucas's take on the destruction of the Jedi. Because, again, this is so core to the Jedi story. You know what they talk about the entire scene that the Jedi are getting taken out? They cut to Yoda, and Yoda drops his cane.
Yeah, grabs his heart.
And the entire
you forgot a Jedi, Jay, because I'm literally watching the scene right now. The one on the the speeder.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah,
don't know.
The entire scene, no Lucas, no anybody else. It's the CGI guys, the special effects guys, talking about how difficult it was to get Yoda to drop his cane. That entire scene, they were talking about Yoda dropping his cane. And to me, that is just a microcosm of how little of an F they gave about this entire story. Because it was just like, oh, the special effects, oh, look how much work we put in to him dropping this cane. Not the culmination of the story that you jackasses have been watching and sitting for 30 years. It's a cane dropping. And that pissed me off so bad. And that, more than anything, turned me off to the entire
Oh, but the cane is representative of the snow globe from Citizen Kane.
Let's also not forget Yoda decapitating 2 stormtroopers in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So on that thing.
So even what Kirk was just going off of what Kirk said, they're still to this day trying to make it up to fans. Fallen Order, literally, game came out. Rebels,
great game, by the way.
Great TV show. Still, we don't know how many actual Jedi survived. You've got a total of 4 now that you know of.
Well, if you count, are you counting Ahsoka?
I'm counting Ahsoka. She's still, in my opinion, a Jedi. She's just a great Jedi.
Yeah. You got Ahsoka. You got.
Well, you lose canon, so
well, you got the 2 in Rebels. You got the 2 in Rebels. I'm blanking on their names right now.
Oh, it's late. It's Kanan and Ezra.
Yeah, you got those 2. You got.
But Ezra wasn't an actual. Ezra wasn't born.
No, he was brought into.
Or he was born the day of the Empire taking over.
Yeah.
But you have Kanan, you have Ahsoka, you have the Master that fell in Fallen Order, and then you have the main character of the Fallen Order, who was a Jedi apprentice at the time.
You also have what's her name in Fallen Order, and her Padawan.
Well, I don't want to spoil much for people.
No, I'm not. I'm saying, but
that's in the trailer. It's in the trailer. But you have a total of 4 to 5 Jedi that you know who are there. They haven't given us a list of who else has survived.
He survives in books and comics.
I mean, yeah, there are some Jedi that were probably out there that didn't have clone troopers.
I think there's a bunch. I think there's a bunch that wanted to carry on the Order, and then just like they never talked about it. And that's the only thing that I'm really sad about this, because like Kirk says, it's something that fans have been waiting for years to find out how they became extinct. How could this power?
Give me a show about that.
Give me a show about that, please, and not a show. I love
Rebels. I'll tweet it. John Favreau and Dave Filoni.
Tweet at them, please. Give us a show.
Bring me into the writers' room
on that entire experience, that section of Outer Rim, because you want to go Outer Rim anyway. They're gonna start bringing stuff in. Obviously, we know that from Last Jedi. We'll talk about that at another day. But yeah, that's my only take from this, and maybe not showing all the younglings getting like that was really bad.
Do that.
That changes episode 6. That changes episode 6 for me.
And
He
what
had
was?
redemption. He had redemption. You don't now. Like, I understand Alderaan, it's war. You're blowing up a planet. It still
Even
sucks.
then, it wasn't Vader that blew up Alderaan. That was Tarkin.
Yeah, that was Tarkin. But Vader still had the ability to have redemption. You ruined that for me with this. I can't forgive you. You are a child massacre. Tusken Raiders aside, I know, Tusken Raiders, you see those and they're humanoid. It's something that lives in a person. And I know it's supposed to represent the Nazi regime. Still, you gave him a redemption arc. That's why I don't think Kylo Ren needs to be given a redemption arc. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah. Which now leads to hashtag where all these dead kids come from. We get to the youngling slain, which I still say I love the one main kid where he's like, Master Skywalker, what should we do? And Anakin does his lightsaber. That little kid holds it up. The little kid goes like, bitch. And then he's like, oh wait, no. Watch that.
It's like I'm gonna die anyway.
That little kid goes, want to go? And then he stops. I love that little kid because he's all like, bitch, let's go.
Practice saber in his hand.
Exactly. That little kid was about to square up.
That's messed up. Don't say that.
What?
No, I'm sorry.
Kirk's
Sorry. Kirk's message.
I didn't see it. I have the phone pulled up. Doug does not care about the indigenous people.
Go to my Twitter at jburns with his D253. Like my tweet, retweet. Can a motherfucker get a show in the Star Wars canon about Jedi who survived Order 66 between episodes 3 and 4? And I added Jon Favreau. I legit just added Jon Favreau. I can't find Filoni's Twitter.
Ah, it sucks.
So I'll go back. I'll retweet my own tweet after I find Filoni.
Tag Star Wars, tag anyone who's connected to Kathleen Kennedy.
She's got another 3 years to
I'll find her personal Twitter and tag Kathleen Kennedy.
And Jay will then be blacklisted everywhere.
Right.
But yes,
you want to work in Star Wars? Guess what? Not happening.
Yeah, we get the death of the younglings. Obviously, I mean it's
brought the cowboy hat though.
We get the death of the younglings. It's one quick scene. It is hashtag where'd all these dead kids come from.
It's hashtag ruined the end of Jedi for me.
No, it's hashtag where'd all these dead kids come from. That's the one that's sticking. Thanks to Jay. Thoughts on the Doug and I basically gave our thoughts on it. Jay, Kirk, thoughts on the youngling slain?
I mean, you had to have something to turn him into Darth Vader. They called him Darth Vader, but what is going to make him like evil guy?
His eyes do change in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's where you have.
Imperial March. Oops, sorry, Kirk.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. But I mean, again, this all comes out. I'm a broken record because I say this movie shoves too much into one film, and with one movie, you have to have something that makes you hate him. Like you need to hate Darth Vader. As cool as he is, as much we love him, as much as he's one of the best villains in the history of film, we have to hate him, and this makes you hate it.
This is definitely a movie that could have served being 3 hours long, with as much as they had to do. Jay, thoughts on the younglings?
The proto-imperial march that you hear when Vader and the stormtroopers are marching up the steps of the Jedi Temple is really nice. That scene where they're at the top of the steps and you just watch him rise and you can see the fucking just anger on Anakin's face is really nice. It's a very nice scene to see. There's only one youngling who really tries to step to Anakin. And it's that little one. Yeah. And then he drops his guard and Anakin just ignites his lightsaber and the kid's like, I'm about to be one of these where did all these dead kids come from tags, aren't I?
and then we do get one youngling, or I was
about to go there. So we get one Padawan. Padawan when Jimmy Smits pulls up in his fucking red space Corvette.
And how do we know he's a Padawan? How do we know he's a Padawan, Jay?
Because he's got the dumbass hair.
He's got the fucking rat tail.
He's got the dumbass hair.
Oh God!
my God.
Whose idea?
Takes out
was
like
it?
3 stormtroopers. So like as a Padawan, as somebody who's probably only ever trained on like training remotes,
Yeah.
actually being able to deflect a couple of those, cut down a couple of stormtroopers,
Mhm.
not bad. Only thing I could say is the stormtroopers aimed for center mass, bro. You know exactly where they're aiming at, and you just let one. You're like, oh hey, look, my lightsaber, like I could literally just flick of the wrist and deflect it. No, like literally this much, boom, square to the chest, and you're dead. That's why you're a Padawan, bitch.
No, it's one of those moments where he's like, "Oh my God, I'm actually doing it." It's just dead. He's like, he got too big, too big in a quick second. Well, like once again, who the fuck thought that rat tails for Padawan was a good fucking idea? George Lucas. What the fuck? Might as well have just given him a mullet. Like for crying out loud.
The rat tails are as bad as midichlorians, okay?
I think they're worse. But yeah, so once we get past that scene, we get Yoda talking to Chewbacca and what's the other Wookiee's name? Parful. And then you know, of course, how can you know which one's which? Because fucking Chewie's got his trademark what the ammo belt. Is that what we
Bandolier.
call that? Yeah,
Bandolier.
Also,
Brian,
they're different colors, you racist.
Brian wanted me to make sure I mentioned it that Yoda does get into an ET shuttle. and Yoda does phone home. So yes. But yes, he wanted me to make sure I mentioned that because he wasn't gonna be on this episode. He's like, he gets an ET shuttle. I'm like, yes. Then I think the next part is doesn't Anakin go back to Padme at this point? Or does he go to Mustafar?
He goes back to Padme before he goes to Mustafar, I think.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he goes back to Padme.
Real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast. And then yeah.
We'll get to the big showdown.
Sorry, I'm replaying the scene in my head.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, you hold on for suspense.
I was thinking about I was thinking about that real bad C-3PO CGI of him walking up steps or down steps. I can't remember what it was, but
she has the worst cry in this though. She literally grabs her entire body and then just like racks herself with sobs, and I'm just like, I hope you got a good paycheck for this. I hope Natalie Portman got paid for this movie, bro.
Honestly, he probably got a shitload of more movies than she probably would have gotten. But before this, I mean, people knew her for Leon Professional, and that was it. And then she was doing like rom-coms that weren't doing great. Once she got Star Wars, she went to the other hemisphere. So she may not have gotten a lot in this movie, but she got a lot after that. Same thing with Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen. I mean, he did Jumper, and then he basically disappeared. But
he did that one horror movie where they were trying to steal his eyes. Dead Asleep?
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
No one saw that.
Doug knows what I'm talking about.
It's when he's under anesthesia and it happens in real life and stuff, and like they made a movie about it.
Yeah.
Sleep paralysis. It's
what was the scene you were going to talk about?
Me?
Yeah, you said you had a moment you wanted to talk about, or did you already talk about it?
No. It comes up. It's when Yoda and Obi-Wan are at the Jedi Temple, and like they see the recording of him killing younglings, and literally Obi-Wan mimics what Padme did. He like wraps one arm under his breast and covers his mouth and turns away from the screen.
We don't actually see him kill younglings in the scene because we only see him. He looks like he's just fighting people, like normal Jedi people.
Well, no, but you see it's like a picture of his shoulder from the side, and he's watching it, and then he turns around, but there's lightsaber slicing through something. One can only assume.
Hashtag where all these dead kids come from.
Hashtag where all these dead kids come from. But like Obi-Wan and Yoda make a message from the Jedi Temple. And it's, we regret to inform you that the Jedi Temple has fallen. Like he's the concierge calling somebody. Like, we regret to inform you our continental breakfast has now ended. We regret to inform you that everything that you've known of a civilized society has kind of just ended. Don't come back to the Jedi Temple. Bye. Click. Like, bro. Bro. No.
Yeah, it definitely should have been a different kind of message that was left out there.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, we don't know if anyone went back. I mean, we assume they did, which is why so many of them survived, I guess.
I mean, I guess it kind of goes through all my kind of real issues with this entire film. Like, granted, the pacing, the plot points, the dialogue above all else has been the faultiness through every one of the movies.
We've discussed that.
Yeah, so I mean that's been my main issue with everything. And I mean, just not you leave it like that and it's like, what are you doing?
All right, so basically where we go to now, we lead to we got the Jay, you were saying how with Obi-Wan, he was watching the video and he had the same gut reaction that Padme had. So then we finally see Mustafar for the first time, where Palpatine tells your favorite characters, Jay, the Viceroy.
Different Viceroy.
Is it not the same? I thought it was the same Viceroy.
Different Viceroy.
I always thought
Viceroy, different voice. No, Lucas backpedaled on the racism so hard when it came to the Viceroy.
I totally thought it was the episode 1 Viceroy. Not gonna lie.
No, Newt Gunray is no longer the so racist. Newt Gunray is no longer the Viceroy of the Trade Federation. Yeah,
but he's still in this movie, right? I mean, that's the one he strikes down here.
That's what I thought, but apparently Jay says no.
Well, no. So they changed the actor and they changed the voice. I think that's really what it becomes.
But it's the same character, right?
It's still technically Newt Gunray.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's like saying Alden Ehrenreich is Han Solo. No, it's not.
Okay, I thought you were saying that they weren't the same one.
No.
Okay, well, yeah, we get the first look of Mustafar. Palps is his new apprentice Darth Vader's coming. We obviously, Vader shows up there, or Anakin Vader, whatever you want to call him at this point of the movie. Shows up there, basically slaughters them too. He's got the eyes now, which magically go back to normal. Like, if you're gonna go there, then fully invest in his eyes changing. Poor R2 has to sit there and just watch all of this happen. That's the one thing I was like, R2 is literally watching all this happen and isn't doing anything.
That makes R2 a G though. R2 knew all of this R2 knew all this happened and still ain't say shit. My boy ain't a snitch though. My boy ain't a snitch though.
He could have told Luke, like, your father's a dick. Your father killed babies and a bunch of people. It was like, I could have told you that Darth Vader was your daddy, but
he said a lot of people were hashtagging where all these dead kids come from. I said hashtag I don't give a damn. Actually I meant hashtag beep boop beep.
Actually, R2 doesn't know Vader's Anakin. He never sees the after product of that. So technically, he just knows. He could have still told him that, Anakin, your dad Anakin's a dick.
No, he's called Darth Vader. He's called Darth Vader in front of R2.
Is he called Vader in front of R2? Okay, then yeah. So yeah, that's a big plot point.
But is it ever established like in canon for sure?
Because we know 3PO's mind got wiped.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Do we know for sure that R2's does not get wiped sometime between
R2 does get wiped?
Does he?
They say take these droids and wipe them.
I thought it was just 3PO because 3PO.
He specifically says wipe the mind of the protocol droid. They don't specify it there. But I'm saying we have 20 years in between that maybe he at some point did.
Okay, yeah, but we don't know. Because I only thought 3PO was the one guy because 3PO was talking.
That's what they
honest.
suggest in the movie.
3PO is a fucking narc.
R2-D2 is with Leia in 4, and he's basically her droid from her childhood.
But Leia does not. But he does not know Leia is Anakin's kid, though.
Why wouldn't he?
He wasn't there for the birth.
Who?
R2.
Then how does
R2 don't know.
R2 and 3PO were there.
Not for Leia. They don't know that Leia is Anakin's daughter.
But they were.
So 3PO flew the ship to Mustafar that Obi-Wan and Leia, or Obi-Wan and Padme were on.
But they were not there when they had the
Same ship.
kids and known that Leia and Luke was their names. Now in New
Jimmy
Hope,
Smits is standing in front of them when he's like, "We always wanted a daughter."
Is
they're
Art
there? Yes, they're both there. They're standing in the background. They're standing in the background.
Never mind.
That's the only thing that
I retort.
That's the only reason why I think he wiped both of them, because R2's like her droid too now. Like, you could have said, like, R2 could have been like this whole thing. Your father's Darth Vader.
Your father's an asshole.
That's my point. I mean,
he's a real stand-up guy, and this just went dick.
It's kind of funny to assume that like C-3PO got his mind wiped and R2 didn't, but at the same time,
no one thinks that an R2 unit's gonna.
Is he going to go 20 years not get his mind wiped?
Also, Leia doesn't speak droid.
Yeah, but she has C-3PO who does.
But his mind got wiped. Do you think R2 would talk to 3PO about this?
But here's my.
Do you not hear their banter in 4?
Hold on. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. At this point in time, we know who R2 and C-3PO are in this. They are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Okay.
They really are. They really.
I know, but you're bringing up stuff that 90% of the people aren't going to know what the fuck.
Okay, so Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are characters from a play by one Shaketh Spear. It's Hamlet. I believe that they are in are dead. But they have their own movie, Gary Oldman and Tim Roth, as a matter of fact. But they are in the background of this entire thing, and they're basically telling the story. But they're always in the background. They're always doing something. They're always there. That's what C-3PO and R2-D2 are. So I don't think that they actually got their minds wiped. I think we're just seeing it I think we're seeing a portion of that perspective of that story. Because we're there, we get their story.
If the terms of R2 did not get wiped, Leia never knows what R2's saying. At least not in New Hope. Only Luke knows what he's actually saying.
We don't know that.
I'm saying based off of the conversations, we've never had Leia ever, at least in New Hope, Leia never acknowledged R2.
Because she's never had to. She's had C-3PO the entire time.
Which proves that she probably doesn't know what R2 says 90% of the time.
It specifically says that Captain Antilles is his master. So it wasn't R2's. She wasn't Leia's droid. She was Captain Antilles' droid. He was on the ship and she found him.
Exactly. Because he just finds him and says, "Here, take this." And then R2 is like, my master is Obi-Wan Kenobi. And he goes to the thing, which 3PO doesn't understand what the fuck. I don't know what he's talking about.
That's a good point too, because he's never actually Obi-Wan's.
No. And R2 knows that. R2's like, I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi's robot. And 3PO's like, I don't know who you're talking about. Which is also probably why R2 never talked about any of this stuff. Because 3PO would be like, dude, you're busted. I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Hold on. Can we just I really just want to throw it out there. I really just want to throw it out there for the simple fact that I think it would be hilarious. C-3PO is like R2-D2's caretaker. Because every time R2-D2 starts talking about something that happened during the Clone Wars, all I picture is an old ass man talking about what happened in Nom, and you just kind of like, okay, dude, yeah, that happened. I killed me 50 man. Calm down, Cotton 2D2.
But you know what? You're probably not wrong. That is probably how 90% of their conversations go. Because how many times does this R2 say something and 3PO's like, "Shut up, you," and hits someone on top of the head. And I'm just like, "Fuck you, kid. You golden rod. Shut the fuck up." I love R2. He's the sassiest robot around. But yes, that was the whole thing. Is that R2 probably knew all this shit. Why did he not tell Luke?
Because my boy ain't a snitch.
Exactly. R2's a G. R2 is a G.
He
He's like,
still
"You're gonna-
has an alliance to Vader.
you're gonna find out eventually." Like you're gonna find out eventually.
R2.
R2's the secret. We all blame Jar Jar for being a Sith Lord. It's R2 the whole time.
We all got excited for the BB9 unit, and it was actually R2 that was the real dark agent.
R2 is a fucking what's his name? Usual Suspects. Kaiser Sose of the whole series.
He's actually been around a lot longer than even episode 1, and he's actually the one that helped Palpatine take down Plagueis.
Like, you know what? It'd be really clever if you became a senator. I'll just be a Naboo droid because he's from Naboo. It'd be really smart if you became a politician, Phelps.
I'm just
All right,
telling
we
you,
are
Phelps.
way off the rails.
I'm just telling
We
you.
are way off the rails.
Honestly, though, this was fucking brilliant. This is staying in because this whole totally opens up the R2 character for usefully, and I love it.
Darth R2.
Darth R2.
R2.
All right, ready?
Hashtag Darth
Ready?
R2.
Hashtag R2's real identity is Plagueis.
Oh, yes. I love how this episode's going. It's going so much better than Attack of the Clones.
That's because this is a better movie than Attack of the Clones.
I get it, but we're having so much better conversations than you all just hanging up on me the entire time. Anyway,
Oh my god, you are so triggered about that.
I am triggered about that. And what's funny is that so many people have come to my defense thinking Attack of the Clones is not that bad. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into Mustafar because we are running really long. And I still gotta edit this thing.
Well, we got about 2 20-minute segments you're about to edit out of this. So are we really running long? Aren't we really?
We are. This is the longest episode yet, even with the cuts. Let's go ahead and get the soap opera out of the way. So Mustafar, Obi-Wan shows up, Padme shows up, Anakin's there. We get the whole
Turn her against me.
You broke my heart. Oh, such a great. Yeah. You turned her against me. Which I tell you is Dennis Reynolds from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Only because of the implication.
You turned her against me. I fit in range. No bounds. I love
You were
Always
my
Sunny.
brother.
But yes,
I
we get.
loved you.
To me, the almost the second worst bad acting of the film, outside of "What have I done?" and one scene that's about to come in later in the film, which I still can't believe they got him to say that line. But we'll get to that. Kirk looks like he doesn't know what I'm talking about.
I'm high ground.
Jay knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, I also love that when Obi-Wan shows himself, he's doing like the superhero pose.
The superhero pose? Yeah, bro.
Like,
Guys, he's gonna do it. Superhero pose.
Yeah, he's like, because of Obi-Wan. What? Yes? And he's just like, yeah, that's right. Big dick steer. I'm ready.
Big dick sass.
I mean,
Obi-Wan's like, no, you didn't, Anakin. You did not go dark side.
if you believe in the theory, he's already been landed.
What the fuck?
There's a theory going around that actually she was in love with Obi-Wan and they had a secret affair, and
Oh my
that Luke and
god.
Leia's
We're
their
not.
kid.
We're not. Darth R2 is one thing. We're not going Obi-Wan shipping.
Obi-Wan Kenobi did not cuck Anakin Skywalker. Okay.
No.
Okay.
It did not happen. He had his own
Did you-
Mandalorian.
Did
girl.
you not hear that hello there?
Hashtag
Not
cuck
the-
against Skywalker.
Oh, there are so many great
Hashtag Anna Cuck Skywalker.
There are so many great hashtags for this episode.
Hashtag
Yeah.
Anakin Skycucker.
Yeah, I hope you're writing down all these because you're gonna have to post all these when we post.
Obi-Wan Cuck Kobe.
Kenobi.
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 Yes, we get the Jay loves the lines between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Jay, you wanted to point this one part out. The absolutes.
Yes. Bro, to me, the Jedi are evil. The Sith are evil. Anakin, only a Sith deals in absolutes. Really, bro, you're dealing in an absolute right there. You're hypocritical. This is why you lost. It's not because of the shitty writing. Oh, okay, it's kind of because of the shitty writing. But this is why you die in episode 4. Spoilers.
Yeah.
We
get that
40-year-old movie.
Yeah, we get that.
You 42-year-old movie.
You did that yourself. It's just like great sass right that kind of thing. Then of course, yes, he force chokes Padme, which sends her into labor. Was that what it was? Apparently getting choked.
And Hicks, that's for damn sure.
Apparently, according to Star Wars World, if you want someone to have kids quick, you choke a bit.
Hashtag harder, daddy.
Oh, you call me Vader for a reason. This episode is so far gone.
Doug left.
And I bring him back in because I have the Force. Yes. So we get that. We get their big dick standoff kind of thing, and we start the epic battle in Mustafar between Obi-Wan and Anakin. But yes, that we'll go into that. But also, what's that?
Oh, I could have swore I heard a cat in the background.
I don't have a cat.
No,
it's my dog.
Oh, that's a dog. My bad.
But yes, while we also have the Mustafar thing going on, we also have Big Dick Energy fight number 2 with Big Daddy Palps, Vinegar Stroke, and Yoda. Which, Jay, you love this fight scene better than the Dooku Yoda fight scene in Attack of the Clones.
I do love this fight scene more than that.
It's a good fight scene, but I hate the saucer, like the steep fight thing. I'm not a fan of that part.
Look, okay, so I did praise episode 2 for that scene where you had Dooku throwing 3 things at Yoda plus the Force lightning, and Yoda just baller moving. Fuck this, fuck that, fuck this. Oh, I'm gonna catch your lightning. Boom! Right back at you.
Really disrespect Yoda when he walks in and sees the Imperial Guards and it's just like, fuck yourselves. And just throws it against the door.
Bro.
He's just like, bitches.
I don't like CGI Yoda.
I like stop attacking CGI Yoda.
I'm not just attacking CGI Yoda.
Episode 1.
CGI Yoda is better than the episode 1 puppet Yoda.
Yeah, stop attacking CGI Yoda.
Hey, I can not like it and still like the fight scene, okay? Calm your fucking selves down.
But we also acknowledge, too, that once again, showing the full power of Palpatine, Palpatine throws lightning at Yoda and punks Yoda out. He ain't catching Dooku.
Well, that's because Palpatine is the strongest Force user in the Star Wars galaxy.
Is that we once again we see Palpatine stronger than most because Yoda doesn't stop the lightning for that one.
I need the rest of this for dealing with it.
What's that?
What?
Oh, I didn't hear what you said.
So I need the rest of this for dealing with y'all. So I just throw the empty bottle.
Gotcha. Apparently Doug and I are the only sober ones in this. Let's go through all.
Get on Kurt's level. God damn.
Let's go to Palpatine Yoda, and then we'll finish with Mustafar. So yeah, we get to fight with Yoda and Palps. Thoughts, Kirk, Palps Yoda fight. You're muted again, Kirk.
You're muted, buddy.
It's a logical continuation to the. What did we saw him do in episode 2? We needed to see, I think, Palpatine go full Sith Lord as much as we need to see Yoda goes full Jedi Master. So I don't hate it. There's some silliness to it, but I don't hate it.
Because Yoda met his match with another flippy lightsaber wielder?
Yeah.
Yoda gets his ass kicked and then runs away, though.
Yes, he does.
That's the thing that really needs to be talked about here.
Would you say that he pulled a Grievous?
He did pull a Grievous.
Oh, you're not wrong though. You're not
Because
wrong.
the only thing is like
I could
Yoda
also
had
say
so much
Kylo Ren.
confidence. Yoda had so much confidence going into that fight, and he was just all like, "Dude, I don't got this."
Well, he
out.
knew he was stronger than Dooku.
No. I'm
he's
talking about,
seen
I'm
Dooku-
talking about before Palpatine him starts. Like they get the standoff, and you have Yoda going like that. I got this. I'm gonna take care of this. And then by the halfway through the fight, Yoda's like, "Ooh, I don't have this."
It's again my point: the arrogance of the Jedi.
Yoda pulled a kid who got beat up in a small town and decided to move towns. He was gone.
And claim he's the big fish in a small.
Yes, he's like, I'm going to, not only did I get punked, but I'm going to go to exile because I don't want people to know I got punked out by Palpatine.
I'm going to Dagobah. Wake me in 30 years.
I'm going to Dagobah to live in a hut. Peace, bitches. Obi-Wan,
And eventually die.
Go do homework, Obi-Wan, while he waits.
Go learn how to be a Force ghost and teach me your lessons.
Yes. Go talk to your. I don't want to be your master anymore. Go talk to your ghost Qui-Gon. I'm done with you.
It's really brutal because here's the fact. He literally was like, "Hey teacher, here's my homework. Wait, Obi-Wan, let me copy your homework. I'll change the answers a little bit."
Jay, thoughts on the Palps Yoda battle that you haven't already said?
I mean, I've kind of already gone through everything I needed to say about this one.
Right.
Well, no. I there are certain things about this battle that I like. I don't care what anybody says. Throwing the Senate seats, I think, is a badass move.
I'm not saying it's not a badass move. I didn't like that was the end of the fight. I didn't like that was the deciding factor that Yoda had to go, I'm out. I think it should have been something else. Not just him throwing seats at him and him going, oh shit, I'm out of my element. I need to leave. I wish it would have been more of an actual fight and not just force throwing at each other.
Again, this comes down to what we had time to and where we were at the runtime of the movie.
You're not wrong.
And where Yoda had to be, you look at the end of the movie, and I'm skipping that a little bit, but where everybody had to be, where the characters had to be set up for the next movie. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, this has to end at a certain point, so let's just end it here.
And it's one of those things too. As well, yes, we are getting a Palps Yoda battle, but we all really want to be on Mustafar right now and see where this shit goes.
Yeah.
Even though we love Yoda fighting, we want to see Obi-Wan and Anakin. So let's get back to Mustafar, which is what we're about to do. So the Mustafar fight. Yeah, awesome. To me personally, I love this fight. Wow, Doug, I rolled that. Go ahead, Doug.
It's the dialogue that kills me every single time. It's the stupid moves that Anakin does. You're supposed to be one of the best lightsaber battlers ever. Ever. It's literally depicted. He's supposed to be the best. Obi-Wan should not have been able to defeat him with a limb cut. You should have been able to think ahead because let's be honest, he is a tactician when it comes to it. He's able to dogfight unlike any other pilot that's a Jedi. He's smarter than that.
Oh, all right, hold up. So there's only one thing I really want to bring into this right here, and it's the same sort of argument I bring up against people who are like, oh, well, Rey beat the shit out of Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens on the planet. Take into consideration, Anakin is overly emotional during that fight. What happens when you become overly emotional in a fight? You make stupid decisions. You do stupid things. I will say that right there.
Obi-Wan is overly emotional as well, but he knows how to control it better.
I get that, but he would have been making slip-ups from the beginning of the battle, and he wasn't. It wasn't until the end.
They were no, that's not true.
There are multiple
go back and rewatch that fight.
Obi-Wan that he didn't. There's a moment where he catches him with the metal hand and had him choke.
Got him by the throat.
His neck.
Got him with his other hand, bringing his lightsaber towards him.
But
And the
no,
only thing that stops him is he leans too far over and Obi-Wan kicks him in the ass, which I'm sorry, if you're holding him down like that and you've got his lightsaber and you get pushed forward, you're cutting that motherfucker's head off, bro.
Because he didn't want to kill Obi-Wan. He didn't.
At that point, they were.
I don't think it was until he taunted him at the end lines that he truly opened himself
every
up.
time,
high ground, Anakin.
Every time Anakin's flashing at him, he's not going for the death blow.
I don't think so. I think everybody believes it, but I don't think so because he's pulling it back. He would have used force. He would have. First of all, that could have been an iconic moment instead of force choking Padme. If you just force choked Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan didn't see that coming.
He was literally trying to push Obi-Wan's lightsaber through his face. How is that not trying to be a death blow?
Because you can live from that.
You can live a lightsaber through the mouth, because that's
like
where he
through the
shot. No, he had the lightsaber like about to go up through his mouth. He was
turning him into a South Park Canadian.
He was basically about to turn Obi-Wan into a Pez dispenser. And you telling me that he wasn't trying to kill him at that point?
I don't know. I don't know. There's just a lot of stupid mistakes. I know high emotions make you make stupid mistakes, but not like that. There was just way too much.
You also got to remember Obi-Wan's still not. I'm not saying conflicted, but he's still his good and light is going back forth, which is causing him to fluctuate with his fight. You know,
I think it was an okay fight. Like if I'm
not at his top speed at this point in this fight, where Obi-Wan is,
which doesn't make sense to me. He should be at his top speed. He fully accepted the dark side. He should be able to tap into the same.
He's also doing with Padme. What happened with Padme internally, and now Obi-Wan as well. He's got so much going on internally inside him that he's probably, well, in the fight, he's, like I said, overly emotional, way more emotional than what Obi-Wan is right now in this fight.
I can see that. I guess I view it a little bit different because he has the promise to bring her back. So I don't think she's as far as his mind.
But where they left it off, she said, "You broke my heart." She was gone. She was done with him at that point, in a sense. In
his eyes, she was not done.
He's basically gonna freaking like kidnap her and force her to love him. At that point,
I mean, it's not out of his realm. It's not out. He wanted his children at that point.
Kirk, thoughts on the?
Yeah, I think at this point it was just about keeping her alive.
No, I'm talking about the Obi-Wan Anakin fight.
Oh, you mean the actual physical fight?
For at least the first half of it, before they started going into the lava.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much like special effects. Like, I mean, if you guys, the people who say this best is, if you ever watched the Red Letter Media review of the trilogy. They really talk about how they take away the emotion. Like if you watch the episode 3 or the episode 6, the Return of the Jedi fight, where Luke comes in when Obi-Wan when Darth Vader brings up Luke's sister, and Luke comes out and he just starts hacking. There's nothing like cool or like cute or like special effecty about that fight. It's just pure emotion. And this fight should be about pure emotion. These two people who are supposedly brothers. Brothers or father and son, whatever you want to call that relationship. And
you want my brother Anakin, we'll go with
exactly. And then it just like slice, flip, and it's all special effects, and you take that emotion out of it. That's the problem with this fight, is that it's so devoid of that emotion that should be there, and it's just like two perfect sword fighters fighting because they're perfect sword fighters with no like emotional or personal stakes to it. Like, just who's going to win the fight.
Okay.
I actually think that there's a lot of emotion in this fight. And the fact that they trained as much as they had to train, and all of their motions with their lightsabers aren't special effects. They choreographed that entire fight. Every move, with the exception of like the CGI added flips and the fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi Camino Jedi drop kick that Anakin does in the middle of the fight when they're in the counselor's room. Like they trained really hard with force effect sabers and shit to actually be able to pull off all of these moves, and it shows.
Like that one where they're standing off and they're and then that was
That's badass. When they jump on the little bridge
Or the
thingy.
the beam.
No, well, they're on the floating one on the lava river, and they're like just going back and forth, just swinging their lightsabers like this. They're judging each other. They're trying to find a weakness in each other, but they know each other so well that it doesn't happen like that. I love shit like that. Granted, it could have been explained a lot better. We could have gotten a little bit more in-depth detail as to why a battle between these two would go on as long as it did. Because it's said in the Clone Wars that the only person who can really match Anakin Skywalker in his lightsaber ability is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and they don't use the same form of lightsaber fighting. But we never get that. But what we get is a decent amount of emotion shown between two people who have bonded over, the last 8 years of filming these movies together, and it shows. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into this scene, and this is the best scene in the movie.
All right, so guys, technical difficulties happened here. We lost Kirk. His internet went out. Thus, now you're stuck down to us three. But yeah, so yeah, things happen. It's just it is what it is. So if all of a sudden you realize where did Kirk go? He's back at home, being fine, but no longer on the show for right now. He definitely will be back later. But yeah, we're still talking about Mustafar. About the fight itself, and yeah, like I said, there's a lot of emotion going on, and like you even said, Jay, with in terms of why the fight went so long. You also got to remember, shit's crashing all around them with the lava, and like everything they're on is basically breaking down and destruction. Because I think during the control room, don't they like shut off the shield or something, and all the lava finally taking apart the station. So it's like they're having to fight each other while also having to pay attention to what the fuck's going on around them. That's also why the fight's not going as long as it does. But yes, we eventually there's that one moment. I love it. It's when they're on the beam and they're balancing, and that one little robot like comes up and like, yeah, no, I'm not a part of this. Just gets the fuck out of the way. I love that when the robot like stands there like on. It's almost like an extra who goes into a shot, not realizing that they're in the shot, and then be like,
except he didn't get yelled at like that extra did by Christian Bale.
Exactly. But it's like he stands there like you guys. But no, like you look at that shot, like that robot like looks at them and looks at the screen, like, you guys believe this shit? Bye. Just looks off screen. I fucking love it.
Oh, y'all are fighting. Okay, I'm out.
I'm gonna get sliced up. I'm gone. Bye,
lunch.
Yes. So thus we inevitably get onto the platforms between the two, which leads to the big moment of the fight. Where Anakin jumps on that little robot dude. So the little robot dude who tries to get away, Anakin ends up stepping on his head. Poor little dude. or it's probably one of the other ones. But anyway, we inevitably, Obi-Wan gets on land. Oh yeah, there are multiple little guys in that shot. I'm actually like watching off screen right now. But yes, inevitably we get to the one point, the high ground, which Jay, you had something you want to say about the high ground, right? Or was that Brian?
It was Brian, but Brian basically broke it down like this. Will become a thing here when the high ground didn't mean shit in the Darth Maul fight, but also why couldn't Anakin have jumped off the droid and like ran up the side of the hill, like in a flanking pattern to get to him? Maybe it's pride. Yeah,
ready. Yeah,
but I think I just answered that though. I think it's pride. I think that's really what it is.
Ego.
I'm the best Jedi ever. I'm the best lightsaber duelist. I'm supposed to bring balance to the Force. I have this supposed immunity to all of this. I'm gonna fucking do this cool ass front flippy over you. Oh no, there go my legs.
Oh no, my legs. Yes.
Oh no, my arm.
Yes, Doug, thoughts on that? I'm sure that the way you talked about this already, you didn't like that at all.
No, this is utterly how I felt about the entire prequel trilogy. It left me with, honestly, I didn't know where anything was going to go. because it just was really bad. I know it's an arrogance thing, but it's just pure stupidity. Just stupidity. And I understand, like, being emotional.
Oh, that hurt.
Being emotional and being stupid kind of go together sometimes, but being that stupid is something that I just didn't think was possible for Anakin. So that's why it just makes me upset. I think it could have ended better.
Okay. But I mean, so inevitably, yes, he jumps, he gets his legs chopped. And we get, yes, bad dialogue on Anakin's part, but at least he fucking went for it in that scene.
He emotes out the ass, dude. This is the most emotion I've seen in a given form of dialogue in these 3 movies.
Exactly. So I mean, it's one of those things where, like I said, he gives everything he's got in that moment. We get a great moment too out of Obi-Wan. You know, that you were the chosen one, which you were supposed to bring balance to the Force, which he did technically to a point. Kind of did, because we know there are other Jedis out there, but yeah, we brought balance. It's balanced now for the most part. But yeah, Ewan does the best performance he can out of that scene. It's his best performance so far of the trilogy in that moment. Great scene, and then of course, like I said,
I love.
And then I'll just take this for your future children, and I won't tell them that I murdered you and everything like that. Here's your lightsaber for your children.
Yes, I do, Father.
I knew your father. I didn't tell you anything else about your father, but I knew your father.
I made him
incredibly flammable fellow.
It was like he was lit on gasoline.
Yeah, but well, he was right next to the edge of the lava. The lava. But
The lava.
We get the incredible "I hate you," which I said, I love that part. I thought that was great. Like I said,
and it's the most emotion that he's ever given in a scene ever.
Exactly. And I loved it. And I loved it. I loved it. And he's back to evil eyes at that moment too, because it's pure hate at that.
In the yellow, I loved it.
Yeah,
he's like,
he goes like that whole before he jumps and tries to attack Obi-Wan, he's regular eyes. Once he's on the ground, he is back to the yellow and red. He's at the pure hatred of the Sith at that point. And then I even like the part too where when Anakin engulfs in flames and Obi-Wan has to look away. He has to look away, but he also has to see it at the same time. Like that was great.
What he does is this. He looks at it.
He doesn't. He does not do that.
I know.
I know you're doing a joke.
I'm being facetious.
Yeah, you are. But yeah, no, it's a great moment all the way through. Obviously, then Obi-Wan takes Padme back to Coruscant. Let's go ahead and get to the to me the most ridiculous part of the movie, where Padme gives birth and then loses the will to live, and just
she's lost the will to live.
Like, oh fuck you! It's like if you're gonna kill Padme, have her like the damages from her throat from being force choked caused distress while she was pregnant and she didn't survive the pregnancy. Not she lost the will to live because of a broken heart. Fuck you, George Lucas. Come on. You literally had a reason for her to die. And you, oh, god damn it, George. Oh, god damn it. I fucking hate that so much. Doug,
then we wouldn't have had to have a forced labored scene and you could have just said, oh, I'm giving her a C-section to make the baby survive. Because that's the only reason that he kept her alive.
No, you could have kept her alive to that point, but once she gives birth, she dies. But instead of lost the will to live, you could say it was because of the stress of the damages of what happened with the force chokes. What I'm saying.
Wait, does that make it sexist for saying that though?
What?
Like, oh, maybe it's George Lucas that's like, I don't know. I look at it from that point of view, like, oh, she's only kept around at this point in time to give birth, and then ultimately she kind of gets fridged at that point. Like, you're no longer necessary to anything moving forward. So we're just gonna go ahead and kill you.
Well, if you kept her
But, like,
alive,
they could
then everyone's going
kill her,
to. If
and
you
then
kept
they
Padme
just
alive at that point, though,
baby.
Joe,
What?
if you kept her alive, everyone's going to be asking, "Where's Padme?" At New Hope. Why was Padme not in the movie?
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, they could have, like, she could have died before the kids were born. It's legitimately like something that happened
really
in the medical community.
Are you
that
talking
was
about
her.
taking the babies out of her dead body? Basically, is what you're saying.
Or she could have died during the stress of childhood.
It's dark, but this whole movie
better
was
than
dark.
dying of a broken
Yeah,
heart.
but, I mean, that to me, it's a level of darkness. Is that they're taking the twin bodies out of the dead body of
I
their
think it would
mother.
have been.
Sorry,
I think it would have been
where all
better.
these dead kids
I'm
come from.
not saying you're not wrong. To me, that is better. That is way better.
Because let's be honest,
no way they would have done that.
she was better in episode 1 than she was in either of the sequels.
And that's just because George wrote her that way.
She was a better. I mean, I'm just saying she was a better character in episode 1. She had more to do, and she was an actual character.
In one, she was a badass young queen who was gung ho, who looked like a leader. In 2, she was basically written as the lover,
Love interest.
soap opera, and then the 3rd movie, she's just pregnant wife. So yes, I 100% agree. She's written way better in episode 1 and the Clone Wars cartoon series because they let her be a badass in that. But yeah, no, George completely kind of screws over Natalie Portman in these last.
Yeah, I mean, she was supposed to basically be Leia. She was supposed to be this iterations of Leia, so you understand it was less about nurturing and more about the nature of her line. Because you can definitely see, like, in episode 1 where Leia comes from, like that whole badassery. I can do anything that I want.
Takes after her mother.
Yeah. It's just, it sucks because I think she could have still been that badass and still fell in love with Anakin, and they still could have had children.
Instead of sideline her to a senator role that means nothing in terms of the rest of the film.
She became a damsel in distress, and she died a damsel in distress.
Even though she never did get taken.
Episode 2, she was.
Maybe, but she was with Anakin when he got taken. They got taken together. It's not like she.
No,
got
I'm not talking about that. She was the plot point for him to be there. Her being needed to
an attempt on her, but it's not like she got taken ever.
No,
like
but damsel in distress doesn't necessarily mean you're taken. It means that you need to be rescued at some point. Rescue doesn't mean I got to rescue from kidnappers. Rescues could be I'm saving you from an assassination.
That's the thing, though, that even after the assassination attempt, they never try to kill her again outside of the worms. Like as soon as they go to the Naboo, she's never ever in a threat until she goes to Geonosis. Like she could have stayed on Naboo and just been fine. Like never once has anyone tried to go after her again. Like she's
Also,
only in
she mentioned that she wants to go back to Naboo.
What's that?
Like in this movie, she mentions that she wants to go back to Naboo.
Yeah,
had they just gone back to Naboo, none of this would have happened.
Yeah, but Anakin wouldn't have been able. Anakin still would have been Anakin because he couldn't have gone back. He would have been. All this shit would have happened. It's just that she would have given birth in Naboo. She probably would not have known.
He says that he can't abandon the Jedi Order like that.
No, I'm saying
they're about to abandon him.
Padme had just went without him. Anakin still would have. Everything with Anakin still would have probably happened.
I understand that, but Padme pleads with him to go back to Naboo, leave the Jedi Order, and just have a normal ass life. But Anakin's so up his own ass about being the fucking chosen one that he can't give up being special. Had he been able to do that, none of this would have happened.
We can all blame this on Qui-Gon, right? Qui-Gon's the reason that this all happens.
Oh, because he brought it.
Because, well, no. If you would have just brought Anakin aboard, right? Never told him he was the chosen one. Never told him anything. Just let him be a child in the Jedi Order. He would have never thought.
Make him a child soldier without telling him he's special.
But never tell him.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm literally saying that's what they did with everybody else.
That's what they did. So the problem faces. I mean, let's be honest. If Qui-Gon would have just either left him alone, or would have brought him in that way, we wouldn't have had this issue. But again, we had 3 previous movies that we needed to connect character to. So, but yeah, no, I think if you would have killed her off beforehand and they just rescued the you don't gotta show the surgery, you just show that they're there well and okay.
Okay, so we're running long. I just have one last thing to say, and it's not even about this scene. The worst acted, the worst delivered line of dialogue.
We're gonna get to Vader. We're gonna get to Vader. But in terms of what Doug said about Qui-Gon's fault, it's also Darth Maul's fault. Because like we said in episode 1, if Darth Maul had just if it had just pinged Anakin in the back of the head with his scooter, none of this would
back of his head.
We talked about that in episode 1. I was like, dude, if he could have just taken Anakin out, he just would have pinged him in the head with his scooter. But yeah, so we obviously Palpatine shows up, grabs Vader, goes and we finally get Darth Vader. We get
there's one thing I want to point out with Palpatine meeting Anakin right there. As much as it's not stated, it is very much alluded to that Palpatine uses the trick that he learned from Darth Plagueis the Ways on Anakin right there to keep him from dying. He had a little spark of life in him, and he uses his little fucking force stasis. It's not stasis because he's not frozen, but he like basically brings him back to life, keeps him alive until he can get in the suit to become the automaton that we know as Darth Vader.
For D&D fans, he lays hands on him.
He brought him up to 1 HP.
It's a good berry.
But with this, we get the visuals back and forth between the birth of Darth Vader and the birth of Luke and Leia, which I thought the birth of Vader, them like the robots forcibly putting legs on him and peeling off his clothes off his burnt body, great visuals. Then we get the one visual of the last look of Anakin's face as the mask lowers down, and for the first time ever, we get to see the inside of Vader's mask as it's on him. Like we get to see what he sees, which I thought was cool that we finally actually got to see that moment. And then of course Vader rises. We get that moment with Vader rising, and then of course now we're Jay wanting to go to, which is the worst piece of dialogue in the film.
No.
I cannot believe they got James Earl Jones to do this. I really can't believe they got him.
I can't believe.
I was looking for it. Did they actually get him to do it? I'm trying to.
It's James Earl Jones. Yeah, it's James Earl Jones, because the first thing he says after he takes the really whiny, what happened to Padme? I'm sorry, Darth Vader. In your anger, it seems that you killed her. No! And you get to see an awesome, emotional use of the Force there when he crushes all the droids and shit, and he fucks shit up.
And
that is the worst.
Yeah,
that is the worst delivered line of dialogue in this prequel trilogy. I don't give a fuck. I know I've lambasted I hate sand. It's coarse. It's rough. It's irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Little Annie's.
No, that's pod racing. Or are you an angel? Yeah, I've lambasted a lot of fucking dialogue in this. This is the worst one line of dialogue in this entire prequel trilogy, and it was the most unnecessary. No. They could have done it silently and had him crush everything, and it would have been way more effective.
Or even just have him do the Vader thing. Just not the no.
Actually, I agree that silence and just crushing everything.
I think with the swelling
that would have been
right there and the silent, because you can see him when he does this and he breaks free and he raises his hands up. You know exactly what he's doing. I didn't need the dialogue. Yeah, I didn't need the dialogue of them telling me he's saying no. It was completely unnecessary. They literally could have just
the one thing where we finally get to see Vader, real Vader, and you fucked it up. How did you fuck that up?
But that's just it. There's a moment of dialogue that he has. He asks in the Vader voice, "What happened?" That is enough. That is all I need. I did not need any more than that. but the added no is really what kills me when it comes to that.
I agree.
That's the most unnecessary piece of dialogue in this movie.
I agree, because it still makes Vader look like a bitch.
Yeah.
And you don't make Vader look like a bitch. You can make Anakin look like a bitch, because he did that enough in Attack of the Clones. Don't make Vader look like a bitch. It's like that's the one thing you shouldn't do, and you did it. It's like that, George, you were doing so well, George. You're doing so well. And then you just had to go.
I thought we needed to add a little bit more emotion.
More emotion.
I
feel like
know I'm
Vader
not good with
needs to
emotion
have that
or
emotion.
dialogue, but
yeah. Anyway, we get one more conversation between Obi-Wan and Yoda, them basically deciding that they're going to split Leia and Luke up, give Leia to Bail Organa, and Luke to the Lars.
The Lars.
Lars. With
Lars.
That end scene though. That end scene, I love that end scene. The one where it's basically a counter image to the opening of A New Hope. Well, when you see Luke.
Luke's entrance versus okay, so Luke's childhood entrance there, his ending portion of the prequel trilogy to his entrance in the original trilogy. It's a very nice mirroring shot, and it's another thing that they do really well. There's just some dialogue here that didn't need to be there.
Yeah, I agree. And then of course we also get the Yoda saying, "I'm going to Dagobah." Obi-Wan, go to Tatooine, watch Luke, learn from Qui-Gon.
So
No.
What?
No. Go to Tatooine. There is an old friend you must speak with, is what he says to him.
I was paraphrasing. I wasn't saying
I understand that, but he's not like, oh, watch over the boy. Although there are several books that explain that he watches over him like the entire time and saves his ass multiple times.
We're also going to get a Disney Plus series about it.
Exactly.
Lars. Yeah, we are.
We all know why he's
so I know people shit talk on it that there doesn't need to be a Yoda movie, but I want a Yoda series. Because I want to find out what he's doing, because he's not just, he communicates outside of Dagobah, and I want to find out how. And obviously we learned a little bit of that in Last Jedi. That's how Luke learns how to transport his body without being shown. But I would love to see that. Like it's not, some people are going to hate it, but I think I would love to see what happens to Yoda in between, because he's officially lost everybody.
Yeah,
I am one of those people that would hate that, unfortunately. I think the air of mystery behind it is good enough for me, where I can have my own little thing, but once they officially definitively put what happens during this time to paper, you're going to get a lot of backlash. Personally, that's just how I see it. I don't need it's an over explanation.
We're gonna find out what happens anyway, because the fact is, with Baby Yoda,
I don't think we are, and I'm completely fine with that. I'm 100% fine with that.
Well, we also get the funeral of Padme, where they make her still look pregnant. It's
weird.
It's not weird, because they think that Vader might go try to find her.
Oh,
and they're trying to make sure that
never seen a pregnant lady give birth.
But technically, with the Force, you think Vader would know that.
Also, have you like never seen a pregnant lady give birth? They don't automatically lose the belly.
No, but they lose a lot. They lose a lot.
But I mean, they made it seem was still pregnant.
She still had a bump, but she didn't have the twins bump. And I'm okay with that. We have a gentleman in our comments who actually works in the medical field. Let's go to him. And Nivik, what do you say? Hey, he doesn't say anything. Okay, let's move
on. Anyway, but yeah, and then of course, like you say, we get the final shot of the Lars holding baby Luke in the sunset, which, like I said, I agree. It's a beautiful last shot to the trilogy.
One Joel Edgerton.
Yes, one Joel Edgerton, and a woman who I can't remember her name off the top of it. But thus brings the end of the prequel trilogy. And then, of course, next we get to of the movies. But yeah,
we're not toxic fans. We just like what we like, and we dislike what we dislike. You won't see toxicity until you see me and Kirk duke it out for episode 8.
If anything, through this trilogy talk, you're the jaded fan. I'm the actual lover of Star Wars, by the way this thing goes. And Doug's been only in one episode. So
one episode.
Go fuck yourself.
Hey, you'll see my bias if I come back.
Come on, we almost made it through this one without that voice. Don't do it. Don't do it. God damn it. We almost made it without a Wano conversation.
It's the prequel trilogy. You're never gonna escape a video without it.
Can we please go through the original trilogy without Wano? Can we?
I'll think about it.
God damn it, Jay. Anyway, guys, this is a very long video. It was a very fun video. It was hilarious. Going through this. There's a lot of stuff that probably is not going to make it into this final cut that you guys missed. But we did get some great hashtags. We got Palps Vinegar Strokes. We've got, last episode was where all these dead kids come from. What were the other two, Jay?
Anacuck Skywalker.
Anacuck Skywalker.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Darth R2. Darth R2D2.
Darth R2D2.
Darth R2D2. So yes, if anything, we got some great hashtags coming out of this. And of course, Jay starting to stalk Jon Favreau and all the Star Wars executives. I hope you guys enjoyed this talk of the movie Crusaders right into the Star Wars Galaxy Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. If you guys did, hit that like button. If you guys feel like this review, not review. I say that every time. If you feel like this video is worth sharing, hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on Sean's Movie Crusades. And of course, don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Doug, first time. You have fun?
I did. It was a blast, man. I'm glad I could come and hang out.
Awesome. And where can the people find you, Doug?
Right now, check out Transvail, The Adventures of Transvail. Search it up on YouTube. Check us out. We're a D&D packet play video where you get to watch and chat with us and tell us what we're doing wrong while we play D&D.
Awesome. And Jay Burns, I hope you have something new because you always have something new every time I tell you. Where can the people find you, Jay? At the Wawa?
You can find me at this Wawa right here. It's in my heart. It's 100% better than Sheets. You can find me on Twitter at jbirds253 where I back those statements up 100% of the time. Kirk, when I finally get out there, we're gonna talk crime movies, and you're gonna try to talk me out of loving Wawa. Never gonna happen. But you can find me on Instagram at bargang_Burns. You can find me on Facebook at jburns, and you can find me on Twitter at jburns253. Where I'm yelling at Jon Favreau about Star Wars and alt porn stars about porn parodies, apparently.
What? And there's the new edition thing. I was like, Jay adds something new every time. And of course, Kirk Kowalkowski, who obviously we lost internet connection with. I know what he'll say. You can find him on Facebook at Kirk Kowalkowski. If you guys can figure out how to spell it, good for you. But then again, I have his name plastered on this whole video. Also, you can follow him on his Letterboxd at Kirk Kowal. Of course, you can find me, Sean Waskrug, on Facebook. Also, like I said, all the social media outlets you see below with Sean's Movie Crusades. All of us you can pretty much find on Facebook. We love talking about movies. You want to talk about movies with us, feel free to do it. Don't forget to leave your comments on the video below. Tell us whether you liked Revenge of the Sith. Talk about anything that you want to talk about in the video and all those hashtags that we came up with during this video. And next time, we enter the original trilogy as we go to Episode 4, A New Hope. Don't know who's going to be on the show yet, but probably this guy right here because he's been on every one so far. I think Jay Burns is going to be a mainstay, at least for the Star Wars Galaxy ride. And who else? We'll find out and we'll see. But until next time, in case we don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders, and may the Force be with you.
Ba 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 ba.